Hey everyone, we are back with another episode of the Nintendo Pipeline podcast. This one's very special. Uh, I'm CMM. I'm going to be your host today. And who do I have with me from the crew?
I am Jared, also known as One Up Muffin in the Discord.
And I am James.
Known as James. Um,
Yeah.
we have we have two special guests today. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Fork.
And I'm Gartooth.
Sweet. So, this week we've got some fun stuff going on. Before we get to our main topic, which is going to be all about Super Nintendo World, because Fork took a trip there recently, which is amazing. We did also want to briefly talk about the Mario movie trailer that's released since last we did an episode. I think we all have very clear thoughts on this one, but Chris Pratt sucks.
Why do you hate Italian Americans?
I am an Italian American. Chris
Oh,
Pratt
okay.
sucks.
Oh, that explains so much.
Is that the biggest takeaway, or is it that Jack Black is the best? Which is like a stronger feeling?
I think Chris Pratt is a stronger feeling because it takes away from the better parts of the trailer.
Hmm.
To be
Yeah,
honest with you,
It's
I
like,
don't think it's that
maybe-
bad.
No, I don't think it's that
Yeah.
bad either. It's just like comparatively, it's like, oh, huh.
Like Chris Pratt can fuck off or whatever. He's
Yeah.
a dude of questionable morality, I guess.
sure.
But, I don't know. I thought people were kind of overreacting. To
Yeah, I think
it
it'll
being
be.
bad. I thought it was mediocre.
I think it'll be better in the movie. Actually, I think you won't notice it as much when it's mixed with everything else versus like literally half of the trailer is like just waiting for Mario to speak, and then you hear that.
It's only
Yeah.
two lines, and the first line is kind of like a whisper almost, and it's really just Chris Pratt's voice. But then the second
Yeah.
line, he kind of breaks out what you would think is maybe the Mario, quote unquote, Mario voice with some sort of like New Brooklyn accent to it. So you're
Right.
kind of wondering, like, what is it going to sound like all the time? Because he's kind of doing two different things now.
It's weird, and we don't really hear that much of him
No,
in the trailer.
They should have just
But-
not had Mario talk.
yeah,
that's-
just
It'd be a
That's
weird,
my real takeaway.
yeah. Well,
I like the penguins a lot. They're my favorite part of the
the
trailer.
penguins are good.
They're cute.
Yeah.
And the line read from the King Peng was funny.
Yeah, that was a real left field
Yeah.
selection.
It worked.
Honestly, the best part, or the best to me, was Keegan Michael Key's voice, or Toad voice. Is that his name?
Mhm.
Keegan Michael Key? Did I just mess it up? Okay.
Right. Yeah, he nails the raspiness of Toad's voice without it being extra, like really coming across as grating for a full movie.
Yeah, I think he'll be great.
The animation and the look, I think, was very good. The character is
Mhm.
very expressive.
Bowser was great.
Yeah, Bowser's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Legitimately, very, very good. I like
Yeah.
Jack Black in general.
I'm excited for Jack Black's singing, and for Toad's Keegan Michael Key will be singing somewhat too.
Yeah.
I saw a couple people say that Kamek sounded older than they expected, and I was like, what did you... I've always thought Kamek was, like, extremely old.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
little old person.
Yeah.
His voice was a bit unexpected because I think the actor normally has a very deep voice, so I was kind of expecting something like that. But I
Who
think
wa-
the voice he's choosing is more appropriate.
Who was that actor?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've just
Yeah.
heard him before, and he has like a
Mhm.
like a
Yeah, I
very low
recognized
type
it.
of voice.
If I recall, he's not someone, like, super famous,
Okay,
like
got it.
Chris
Mhm.
Pratt,
Pratt,
and
yeah.
Jack Black. Man.
I'm sad we didn't hear Peach and like Luigi in the trailer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I wanted to hear it's the Always Sunny guy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
You heard like
And
a short yelp.
you can hear his yelp. Like it does. I mean, you can like if you're listening, like, oh, that sounds like Charlie Day. but he doesn't read a line. He just goes, ah.
And I also, the casting choice I'm most excited to hear is Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong.
Oh, mine is Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
You know, if Cranky Kong wasn't in the movie at all, I would probably agree with you. But just by the sheer like fact that Cranky Kong of all characters is in the Mario movie, that
it's wonderful.
I don't know. I just gotta hear it, man.
To me, the one that I'm very curious to hear is Foreman Spike, because out of all the characters to be in the Mario movie, Foreman Spike is going to be in the Mario movie.
Yeah, that's the deepest cut for sure.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense if they're going to do Mario's backstory in New York or New Donk City or just some nondescript city. So, like, with these types of movies, you kind of want to have like the only really hardcore fans know these references type of things, but you also have to make it a bit broad. So I don't think most people know who Foreman Spike is, but just putting them in there, they're kind of saying like, okay, we see you, Mario fans. We really care about, making sure this movie is appropriate to the Mario fandom.
Yeah, I
Cranky
think
Kong
nice.
is just such a weird pull.
Cranky, yeah.
Of all the other Kongs, like they didn't cast Diddy Kong, did they?
Nope.
No.
It was Donkey and Cranky.
Are they going to explain? Are they going to explain like Cranky Kong is the original DK? Or
yeah, I feel like they have to make that joke.
Yeah, it has to be at least referenced in some way.
Are they gonna put Candy Kong in it? And man, I don't think the world's ready for another Candy Kong design. I hope they put Funky in it.
Funky Kong will be funny. That's probably a sequel thing, like the Kong spinoff. I wonder where this goes. Like, obviously, it depends on how well it does, but it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think it'll do very well, and I think it'll be like good enough too. Like, I think it'll be a fine movie.
Yeah, it's not going to be a disaster.
I was expecting the worst, and I was like, okay, that's not as bad as it could have been for sure.
Yeah, I think. Oh. Yeah.
I thought it was.
The art's beautiful. I thought the three scenes they showed all looked really good. The Mushroom Kingdom, the Bowser Ice thing, and then the haunted, spooky area.
Yeah.
This isn't really a deep criticism or anything, but I thought it was very funny that in the like little pre-recorded thing that they did before the trailer with like Miyamoto and Jack Black, etc. Somebody mentioned like, oh, we're working with Koji Kondo to pick, the right music for the the right Mario music to use for the movie, and then in the trailer the only song you hear is like 2 seconds of World 1-1.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay,
just like trailer music.
Yeah, it's like this is what we're gonna. That's like the level of Mario music I expect from it now.
Can we also talk about Chris Pratt saying he steps on the Koopas?
Oh God!
Stomping on ... Koopas.
Yeah, watching.
That's such an odd line.
Yeah. So for anyone who may not be aware, they had a direct for this trailer, and before they showed the trailer, they talked to a couple of the actors, and Chris Pratt was one of them. Was the most awkward thing to watch.
Yeah, it's like he vomited out the word Koopas.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not allowed to say this word. It's against my religion, but I had to do it for the check.
Line, Koopas. Koopas.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a Mario fan to, participate in the movie, but I was surprised some like HR person never sat him down and said, okay, just listen. You played Super Mario Brothers for NES. Just say that, the end.
Yeah.
I don't know why he has to do this like really complicated, at the laundromat, I maybe played the original arcade game or whatever. Just say Super Mario Brothers NES. I played it. It was fun. The end.
Yeah.
I don't think Chris Pratt's allowed to lie, though.
The delivery of that whole recording was weird.
Should have just said he was a huge fan of the original Mario movie.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
That would have been really funny. I don't think they'd allow him to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's too good.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. 2023. They have a date, right? April 7th, I think.
Yeah. That
So,
sounds right.
um, but more importantly, um, our boy Fork took a pilgrimage to Super Nintendo World in Japan, the theme park, which will be coming to the West soonish. Um, so I think we're all kind of very curious to hear what you thought and some of the things that you experienced there. Um, you grabbed a power up band, so you got to do the interactive stuff as well.
Right.
So I guess yeah, tell us a bit about your trip.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'll kind of run through about, what is Super Nintendo World? Where is it? So I
Mhm.
live in Japan, but I live in Tokyo. And Super Nintendo World is in Universal Studios Japan, which is in Osaka. So it's the second biggest city outside of Tokyo. And by Shinkansen, it's about 3 hours away. So it's not too far, but it's not something you can really go to every weekend.
Mhm.
So it opened last March, I want to say,
Yep.
March 2021.
Yep.
So it's been about a year and a half, and I finally, got the energy to check it out. Of course, I wanted to check it out for a long time, but because of COVID and crowds and everything like that, then I was kind of pushing it off. But there was a 3-day weekend, and I planned ahead, so I finally was able to do the pilgrimage to Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan, which is, yeah, if you've been to Universal Studios in America, it's kind of the same idea where, they have different attractions. It's a theme park. I've been to the Universal Studios in LA and in Japan, of course. And I definitely think the one in Japan is much better than the one in LA. The one in LA just seems so old and
Oh
like kind of
yeah.
run down. But USJ, it's about 20 years old, but it still feels really fresh. And there's a lot of new attractions. And it's just really like a really fun place to go. And I honestly prefer over like Disneyland. I've been to Disneyland and Disney Sea in Tokyo. And I would definitely choose like USJ over the both Disneys, even though it's not as big, but it has more things targeted towards my demographic. It's got Jurassic Park, Jaws, and of course Super Nintendo World. So I guess I'll kind of like go over maybe some general tips. I think
Yeah.
most people will probably want to go to the Hollywood one. I think that's closer to them than the Japan one. But Japan did open recently for tourists, so I think a lot of people will be going to the Japanese one as well pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's also the Florida one, which is probably is going to be a closer experience to the Japanese one, since the Hollywood
Oh,
one
yes.
lacks the Yoshi stuff.
Do we know when the Florida one is opening?
Right. So the Florida version of Super Nintendo World is going to open with the Epic Universe theme park. And since they're building a whole theme park, it's not scheduled to open till 2025.
Oh,
But it's going to
too
be an
far.
exact clone of the Japan version. So it'll have Mario
Okay.
That's
Kart,
cool.
the Yoshi ride, the eventual Donkey Kong expansion, all of that. I
Right.
believe the only thing that's kind of like people are talking about that might be different for the Florida one is that it'll have bigger walkways to accommodate more people. But
Makes sense.
other than that,
Yeah.
like the layout and attractions will all be the same.
Everything's bigger in America.
So what was the thing that wasn't going to be in the California one?
Yoshi's Adventure.
Yoshi's Adventure.
They
Got it.
they haven't started work on Donkey Kong in Hollywood either, but since it's kind of a separate thing from the Mushroom Kingdom, they can build that down the line if they wish to. So there's been speculation that because the LA Olympics are happening in, I think it's 2028, that Universal will want to build more things in the Hollywood Park, and Donkey Kong is a common thing I see people bring up. So
Oh, that would be cool.
Hmm.
So you get there for how early were you there?
Okay, so Universal Studios Japan opens at 8:30, but I was reading online that you should actually get there earlier because they sometimes open earlier, even
Oh.
though their advertised time is 8:30. So I stayed at a hotel right near Universal Studios Japan. It's called Universal City. It's just kind of like there's a lot of shops and restaurants and a lot of hotels for people who really just come to Osaka for Universal Studios, which is
Right.
kind of what I did this time as well.
Mhm.
So I stayed in the hotel like literally maybe like a 3-minute walk away from the Universal Studios.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes. So I got there at 7 a.m. So about an hour and a half before it technically opened. But when I got there at 7, it is totally crowded. Of course, it's a 3-day weekend.
Mhm.
So a lot of people, and it's still pretty new, it's only been about a year and a half. And really in Japan, COVID has really kind of relaxed this year compared to last year. So I think most people are just going to it probably since summer of this year.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's definitely a huge rush of people. So I get there at 7 o'clock and it is just crowded, like a sea of people. And there's so many different lines trying to get in, so you kind of have to figure out which line is like the VIP pass, which is like the general entrance or whatever. Because I just had like the normal ticket, I was unable to get the VIP ticket,
Mhm.
so I just had sort of the more normal experience.
Well,
So I get there
did it sell out? Like, do the VIP ones like sell out, or are they just like really expensive?
Yeah, the VIP ones were sold out. I
Oh,
would
they
have
sell
definitely
out? Wow. Yeah.
paid. I would have definitely paid the cash to
Mhm.
get the VIP
So
pass.
I presume the VIP one like lets you like have like shorter lines or something like that.
Yeah, I've done it in the LA one, and yeah, it's like a cheat code. It's like a special line just for you, and you can do some other stuff like you can like talk to the cast afterwards, like for like the Terminator show. But really, the benefit is like, oh, you can get into any part without like a timed entry ticket, and like this line is way shorter.
So basically,
So
everyone gives you the stink eye as you walk past them.
yeah, definitely. But if you have it, it feels awesome. But I didn't this time, so I waited, and so Um, even though the advertised time was 8:30, and I got there at 7, so I was expecting to wait, maybe an hour or so. But they opened the doors like at 7:15, so
Wow.
they were letting people in at 7:15,
Oh wow.
and I was in line, so it took about 15 minutes for me to get from the line to inside the confines of USJ.
Mm.
And when you're in there, what you need to do is because certain parts of the park they require a quote unquote timed entry ticket. If you go to the Japan one, and if you don't know Japanese, the word I recommend you learn is seiriken, which means like the timed ticket. Some attractions like the Harry Potter one and Super Nintendo World require this, and especially Super Nintendo World now. So, when you get into the park, you can't really just, walk into Super Nintendo World freely. Maybe on some days if it's not crowded, like maybe a weekday.
Mhm.
But since this was a weekend and a 3-day weekend at that, a lot of people are here. So I got in about 7:30, and you also need to download this app. I believe it's just called Universal Studios Japan app.
Yeah.
This is definitely something you need to, have on your phone before you even get there, because you can register your tickets by QR code on there, and then you can apply for the ticket through your phone on the app. And they have English as well, even though it's the Japanese Universal Studios, so it's good for tourists. And there's also a part in the park where you can just take like a manual ticket, like a paper ticket. So when I got inside, I checked the app and it didn't need any timed entry ticket to Super Nintendo World. So I thought, well, I'll just rush in there. But Universal Studios is quite big, and even looking at the map, it's kind of unclear like where it is. Like where it's not like you enter and then you see like a giant, mushroom hill or whatever. You
Right.
kind of have to like look for it. So I was kind of like bumbling around and getting lost. And then I checked the app again and it said like, oh, you need timed entry ticket. So I immediately like applied. This is around like 7:30, 7:35-ish. So I immediately applied and I got my timed entry ticket for 9:30. So about 2 hours later.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so you can kind of imagine like if you get there, how long do you need to wait before you can enter Super Nintendo World? So for
Right.
me, it took about 2 hours from getting my ticket, but I was also technically there like an hour before the park opened.
Wow.
Right. You like it was like
so-
yeah.
So I think people who get there, I was like overhearing some stuff, and some people who got there maybe like noon, they couldn't enter until about 4.
Right.
So the gap can be pretty long.
Mhm.
But I've had some experience with this, like going to like Tokyo Disney Sea, which also like can get crowded. So I have a bit of experience with waiting in lines and everything like that. So, but 2 hours is not bad, like to get in.
Mhm.
And
What did you
you,
do while you were waiting?
while I was waiting, actually there is some Mario stuff before you can enter Super Nintendo World. For example, like there's Universal Studios shops. There's plenty of shops on like the main entryway because when you enter USJ, the main gimmick is that it's kind of ironic because for Japanese people it's really interesting, but for me, since I'm American, maybe it's not so interesting. But there are segments of the park that mimic like Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
yeah.
of course, if you're in Japan, you're like, wow, I'm in America. But as an American, I'm like, okay, well, this just looks like America. So it's not like super impressive. But like the entryway kind of mimics like Los Angeles, like Beverly Hills, and it's covered by an alcove, so it's good for if it rains. You can just retreat there and go shopping. So in those 2 hours, I basically just hit up all the shops, and they sell a ton of Super Nintendo World merch outside of the Super Nintendo World area. So you can really get your fill of shopping just going to these different shops before you even enter the park.
How much
Um,
money did you spend?
that's a good question. For my souvenirs, I was actually pretty conservative. For my souvenirs, like the things I brought home, I spent about $100 or about 90 to $100.
Mhm.
But you
That's
could
not
definitely,
bad.
Yeah.
you could
What'd you
definitely
get?
spend more.
I feel like
Um,
you could bankrupt a small country in there.
You definitely could. They have like we could do a whole podcast just solely just listing off the merch they have.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Super Nintendo World, all the unique thing is that all their merch is exclusive. It's not like they just took
That's cool.
something from like Nintendo Tokyo or from Amazon or whatever. Everything there is something you could only buy there. And even like the plushies, like the Mario plushie, I kind of want to have like both just to compare, but it definitely seems like it's a different like make from the
Mhm.
typical Mario plushie. Like the stitching looks different. I would say, and the proportions are also a little different. I would say the Universal Studios one is a bit of a higher quality.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'd
anyways, like
imagine so.
So you got a plushie and what else?
well, actually, I didn't get a plushie, but
Oh, you didn't
what
get a
I
plushie. Got it.
what I got was of course I got Toko Toko Mario, which is this is like the biggest, I guess, exclusive item they have there at Universal Studios, which is like a kind of like a Mario doll, I suppose you would call it.
Mhm.
And Toko Toko means like to trot or like to stroll in Japanese. So you push it and then like Mario automatically walks.
That was the
And
thing
this
they
is-
showed off in the direct for
Yeah.
the park, right?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
there-
Okay.
I like it.
There are two different ones. There's one with like a red Koopa shell. So you push the Koopa shell and then it pushes Mario. And there's one where he's in a pipe. And then if you want to make him walk, you just kind of just grab Mario and make him walk. And I tried it, and yeah, it's a pretty cool like collectible, like the quote unquote walking. You actually kind of have to do it quite quickly because if you do it slow, he just doesn't walk for whatever reason.
Mm.
So I think that like a small kid would definitely like really love it. And if you're not a small kid, it is like a cool looking collectible because it is well made. It kind of reminds me of like Pinocchio a little bit because it doesn't look like
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a plastic like cheap toy. It's kind of like
I'll look
a
this up real
marionette
quick.
almost. And it has
Because it's
kind
like
of
wearing clothes, right?
yeah, it has like
cloth
like a denim outfit.
Yeah.
And I got the pipe one because, well, most of the time I'm not going to be tokuing. I'm going to be just like looking at it on a shelf. So the one with the pipe is cool because, you can just put them in like the big green pipe and it has the Super Nintendo World logo on the pipe. So I thought, okay, this is a really cool thing to put on my shelf. And every now and then I'll just pull them out and make them walk.
Like
so that
that's
was,
the
like-
one, right? Like that's the thing
Yeah,
to
that-
get if you're gonna.
That's really
leave with
cute.
a
I'm looking at that
souvenir.
now.
Yeah.
That's my highest recommendation. Like
And
it-
how much was
'cause
that?
that one was about, well, because like exchange rate, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but it's probably about $35.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
So yeah, another trend is like all this stuff is kind of expensive. And
Yeah.
for this, it's a bit expensive, but it's a pretty unique item.
Mhm.
Like I've never seen this type of like walking, like I wanted to say
Right.
creature, but it's not a creature, it's a toy.
Well, if it was a walking
and-
Chris Pratt, it would be a creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, I haven't been to the Harry Potter world myself, but I know that the merch for that place is like ludicrous. Like,
Yeah.
I think they charge like $60-$70 for the wands.
Wow.
And like, that's nowhere near as cool as a little Mario doll that you can make walk.
Yeah,
Might be
definitely.
biased.
And some other souvenirs. I got the Yoshi Sumiage game, which is kind of just like a stacking game, but with all these different Yoshis. I believe there's maybe like, how many are there? 9, like 9 different Yoshis, and you just like stack them on. You can make a pyramid or just stack them vertically.
That's cute.
Yes, it's just kind of like a children's stacking game.
Mm.
I did stack them, and it actually is a little difficult a bit to make like the pyramid, because if one goes down, they're all going down. So you have to be quite careful in the spacing. But it's cool because it has like. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, does it have like a little like rules thing, or is it just more of like a kind of like a toy?
Yeah, it's kind of like self-explanatory. You just stack them. Like the shape of the box is like in the triangle form.
Mm.
You can make different shapes. And what's cool is that it has like all the different Yoshi colors, including like a purple Yoshi, which you don't really see so often.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to think about what's something I can only buy here. And there's actually technically everything is something you can only buy there. But like a Super Nintendo World like pencil is not super exciting to me.
No.
Or like
Yeah.
a shirt, right? Yeah. Or
Yeah.
even the Mario plush, like shirt. Yes, it's different, but like you're not gonna find a stack. Like I'm looking at these Yoshi, the Sumiage game you mentioned, and they look good. Like they're good little Yoshi figures. And you're right, you don't usually get like they have even the white and the black Yoshi from Yoshi Story in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also got just some socks. You can always need more socks. And I bought some chocolate that come in like this tin Mario case. And there's a ton of like enemy themed like snacks. Like there's a thwomp box with like some crackers. There's a bullet bill box with some chocolates. It's like a Goomba one. So pretty much any idea they had for merch, they definitely got it all out here.
That's cute
So
because you get the tins afterwards too, which you can reuse.
Yeah. There's definitely like no shortage of things you can buy, but sometimes you have to think about, okay, do I need this like tin of this golden mushroom? Like, where am I going to put this? Or is it just going to be like under a shelf or near like the pots and pans? So you kind of have to think about, what are you going to be willing to bring home? What can you fit in your home?
Sure.
Put the golden mushroom in your car for when you need to go faster.
Yeah, I didn't think about that yet, but
Yeah.
and also before you can enter the, I guess I'll come back to the merch once I get into like the Super Nintendo world. But yeah, something else you can do Mario themed before you can enter is that even before they opened Super Nintendo World, like maybe a few weeks before, they had like these 2 Mario shops that are accessible on the main like walking area. And there's one that it's a merch shop themed around Who's Cap, which is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like a brand or like a, I don't know, it's almost like a logo. It just says like Who's Cap and like a word bubble with like a Mario cap and like a Luigi cap. And it has just like this logo and it's just like slapped on hats and shirts and all this other stuff. So this is something you could only get at USJ. And the shop next to it is like a snack shop where they sell like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a crepe sandwich. It's like the
like
bread
a pancake? Like some kind of like it looks like a Mario hat like smushed together with something.
Yes. So yeah, like a Mario hat is like the bread, and then inside is like some cream and like strawberries or whatever.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but actually that one was closed when I was strolling around at like
that sucks.
8 a.m. I think it opens later because I saw it open earlier or it opened later. So yeah, before you can enter, if you get there early like I did, then you're kind of just shopping. Or, if you want to go look at Jaws or whatever, you can do that. There's no shortage of things to look at. But in terms of like Mario related things, then yeah, you definitely have the shops that you can check out for quite a while.
Now, do they have any merchandise there that is non USJ exclusive, or is it purely all exclusive stuff?
It's, at least to my knowledge, like everything has like that Super Nintendo World like branding on it somewhere.
Gotcha.
Like on the tag. So I'm pretty sure every single item here is only at USJ. So it's definitely like for hardcore collectibles or hardcore collectors, they definitely have their work cut out for them if they want every little thing.
Yeah.
So but I definitely think it is worth buying something because you can't get this stuff anywhere else, and there's some really cool exclusive items, and especially in Japan, like there's a huge culture around bringing snacks for other people or like for your workplace. So they have a ton of like, here's a big box of like chocolates, here's a big box of crackers, or whatever, and it's shaped like Mario. And yeah, there's a ton of clothing and everything. So there's no shortage of like things you can buy there. They've definitely, thought it out quite clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a massive opportunity for them.
You're making me want to go to the Nintendo store again in New York.
I love
Yeah.
Nintendo New York.
Yeah, I went there once and got like a hoodie that I love wearing, but I need to go back.
But there's also so once you actually get to the entrance, and you get in. Now I know that the power up band is a big part of this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Hold on, real quick. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Did you get to pick the one you wanted, and which one did you pick?
Yes. So when you enter, of course, like somebody's checking like your ticket. So you show them like your phone for the QR code or your paper ticket, and then they let you in. And so they're pretty strict about the time. Like mine was 9:20, and like they're not letting you in at like 9:17. So you have to come in like at 9:20 or the time period is like from 9:20 to 10:20. And the lady told me like, oh, you can actually enter like after 10:20. It's okay. But you want to get there ASAP. So once you enter, you can't see the actual like Mario area for a while. You have to walk quite a bit, but close to the entrance is like a stall selling the Mario Power Up Band. So of course, yeah, this is like the must-have item once you enter. And yeah, you can only buy it inside the confines of, I don't know why I keep saying confines, but inside
inside the Nintendo
world.
prison.
Yeah. Like for a lot of the merch that you can buy inside Super Nintendo World, you can buy like in the other parts of the Universal Studios park. Like the Toko Toko Mario, you can buy like, at the normal Universal Studios shop inside the park. So you don't have to wait until you get into Super Nintendo World. But the power-up bands are only sold inside Super Nintendo World. So I got in there, and of course, I picked Mario. He's the protagonist. And they have Mario, Luigi, Daisy, Peach, Yoshi, and Toad are the 6 different ones. So the Mario one I was kind of leaning towards Yoshi a bit because it does have a really nice design with like the spots and everything. But Mario's Mario. You gotta go with him. And it's
Plus, you'll be back.
Yeah. And I can't remember the exact price, but it's about $30, I want to say. So it's a bit pricey, but it's so tied in with a lot of the elements in the park that, yeah, I really definitely recommend it. Like if you're going to buy only one
really
thing,
quick about the power-up bands. So these are basically the main interactive kind of toy, so to speak, for the land. It's kind of like the Harry Potter wands. How if you buy a wand, you can like interact with different things in there. And given the number of attractions that are specifically only used for the power-up band, like say the Bowser Jr. fight, for $30, and if you're visiting Super Nintendo World, yeah, I would say it's definitely worth it if you're a Mario fan. It also doubles as an amiibo, so that's a bonus.
That's cool.
Yeah, like a lot of the functionality definitely reminds me of an amiibo, and the band is kind of like a slap-on band. Like you can just like hit it on your wrist and it'll close, and it's really high quality. It's really well made. It feels soft, and the M, or I guess like the NFC or amiibo portion, is quite large. So it doesn't look cheap at all. It feels quite sturdy. And yeah, it's really visible on your wrist and everything.
I really like that
like,
it's a slap-on. That's
yeah,
good for kids.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really sturdy and really well made. So it looks really cool. Sometimes I think like, oh, I just want to wear it, just to wear it. It looks that cool. But I think it's weird if I'm just walking around Tokyo with like the Mario band on. But
no, dude, you'd be the coolest dude in the city.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely like a must-have item. If you're on the fence, like get off the fence and buy this item. It's just a really cool souvenir, anyways.
Would you say like even more than Toko Toko Mario that's kind of the thing that you want to get? If literally nothing else, you want the power-up band.
Definitely, because it's so tied in with the experience that I'll get into.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that it was optional. I assumed it would just be something that they like. Your ticket is more expensive, and they give you this.
No, yeah, you can totally like skip it if you want to, but like I highly recommend getting it because the park is like almost built around this power up band.
Yeah,
So I
that's what
really
they made
really
it seem like when I watched the direct for that last year, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was mandatory. I was like, wow, this
Yeah,
is like the whole point.
The whole part.
I'm really surprised they don't let you have it, or they let you not
Yeah.
have it.
But like for example, you can ride the Mario Kart without like the band, or you can ride like the Yoshi ride without the band. So it's not like integral to like every single part, but for me, like the part it is integral to. It's just so fun to like not do it is kind of like a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're
So-
there, like you're gonna be spending money. $30 is not that much if you're
Yeah.
already spending that much for a ticket.
Yeah, if you're going to a theme
Right.
park. I
And
would say like the band, if you're a Mario fan, you basically have to get that. Like
yeah,
you
definitely.
can still ride the rides, you can still punch question block, without the band, but with the band, it opens up kind of the whole like video game progression system with the Universal app. Like you based on the character of the band you pick, you'll be in like a team on a leaderboard. So you'll have like Mario team, Luigi team, and so on, competing for high scores. It'll track your high score on Mario Kart. It just adds a lot of like kind of video gamey playability to the whole experience, and they really pack that. As far as I can tell from footage, they really pack that into every corner of Super Nintendo World.
Yes, definitely. I was actually surprised about like how many different things you can do with it, and like 'cause I'll get into it once I get into the park. But the entrance is it's like Super Nintendo World, and then it has like the big green pipe, and then you enter through the pipe, and inside the pipe is kind of like a long hallway, and it's green. It's got these lights in it, so it kind of definitely feels like you're warping into a new part, and then you enter into Peach's castle, like the foyer or whatever it's called.
Hmm.
And so you can see like the paintings from Super Mario 64. There's like a Baba Battlefield one and a few others. And so that area is quite small, so you don't have to spend a whole lot of time inside of Peach's castle. But then when you exit, then you can see like all of Super Nintendo World. And I think it's just so smart how they really narrow your view. Like you're entering the pipe, and it's like a circular pipe, and then you enter like kind of a more open area, but still quite small. And then finally, when you exit Peach's castle, you're really like hit with like a wave of just Mario goodness. It's really like awesome. It's like an open world video game,
I was gonna
like
say,
in Breath
so
of the
it's
Wild.
the Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's like the Breath of the Wild of theme parks.
God damn it.
Yeah, when you exit like that, I forgot the name of it, like where Link starts, and then you see like Hyrule Castle and the sweeping grass field. It feels like almost the exact same. Like when you exit, you're like, whoa, there's just Mario surrounding me everywhere. That feeling is like it's really awesome that they duplicated that feeling from the game like into real life. And like
Yeah.
what Gar was saying earlier is that a lot of the park is like so built around it feeling like a video game, which really separates it from a lot of other attractions in other theme parks.
So you
Right,
get out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gar.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, Universal has kind of done this trick before. If anyone has visited Diagon Alley at Universal Studios Florida, they do this trick with forced perspective, kind of. So when you enter the area, it's just kind of like a London waterfront, but there's a gap in a brick wall that you got to go through this narrow passageway, and then when you like exit the passageway, you're in the main street of Diagon Alley with the Gringotts Bank like right in front of you, the dragon breathing fire. So they give you that wow moment of like seeing it all rush to you at once, and it sounds like that's the effect they went for with Super Nintendo World, where it's kind of like you exit Peach's castle, and then like you see all these kinetic energy, things going on in the land, like piranha plants moving, coins spinning, like all these character animatronics and visuals, just kind of like a sensory overload, is how I've heard it described.
Yeah, definitely. And when I got inside, of course, the first thing I rushed towards was the Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge, which is like the main ride that is housed inside Bowser's castle. which is a bit to the left and back when you enter, but you can, very clearly see, Bowser's castle. So I rushed in there, and so when you enter, like, they checked like I can explain. Like, well, the way wasn't actually that long, and actually when you enter, like, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of line. It's not like the line is like coming out of Bowser's mouth or whatever. Um, because like the actual line is kind of like more deep into the castle. So when you enter, you can see like the huge Bowser statue, and since the line is not forming there, it's very easy to take pictures. And yeah, the Bowser statue is really awesome as well. It looks like it's made of stone when it's not, but it has a lot of attention to detail. And typically, a lot of the things in the park, the attention to detail is like really incredible. Like how they translate like the Mario enemies and Mario just items into real life. Like the coloring and the shading, and it feels like so authentic because, of course, Mario stuff is like so cartoony and like so different from stuff we see in everyday life. Even like the coin spinning, like that is like translated really well to real life. So I was immediately impressed by like how high quality everything seemed. And when you're entering the actual line, you watch like a video about how to play it, which is actually not quite useful. There's a lot of stuff they don't tell you, which is something that's like a common thread for Super Nintendo World. A lot of stuff you have to kind of know like ahead of time or like prepare ahead of time. So they give you like this Mario visor that you wear on your head, and the line kind of snakes down deeper and deeper into Bowser's castle. And the castle is more like a factory almost. There's a lot of huge chains and a lot of like Mecha Koopas and screens of like conveyor belts and things like that. So it looks quite cool. It's a really interesting take on Bowser's castle. Because sadly they can't import lava in there, but so they go for like a more like gritty like factory feel. And then when you enter into like the Mario Kart area, it's really awesome because it opens up a bit more, and you just see all these carts like going on this like conveyor belt almost. And when you sit in the cart, there's 4 people per cart, and you're on like technically a team, quote unquote, Team Mario. And inside the cart is like another visor, which is like your AR glasses, and that snaps to the bottom of your Mario visor they gave you earlier. So it's really awesome, like how it snaps. It's like it feels like magic because it fits like so perfectly. You don't have to like fiddle with it or anything.
So
And
I guess the quick question I have here is, so the Mario part of the visor you have, and then you have the AR part that snaps on the bottom. Do you get to keep the Mario part, or do they take it?
no, they take that. They're
Oh, okay.
they're not letting anyone get away with that.
All right.
Yeah, I was hoping they would have like more designs or whatever, but everyone just had like the Mario hat. But I guess
Right.
because the theming is that you're Team Mario versus Team Koopa or Team Bowser.
Right.
So like you're all on Team Mario. So um, but yeah, it feels it's pretty comfortable to wear. It doesn't like dig into your head or anything like that. So when you're in the Mario Kart, quote unquote cart, I was in the front and to the right. And then there's somebody next to me and then 2 people behind me. And so the Mario Kart ride, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it is similar to like a lot of the indoor, like, I don't know if you would call it like AR. I guess you would, like AR visual rides, like for example, like Spider-Man. If anyone's ridden that one before. But it's typically like it's not a roller coaster, but you're in like a.
Is it like Buzz Lightyear? Have you done that one?
I've done some Toy Story one, but I don't remember if it was Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
But
so the way I've heard this described, so Mario Kart is it's like the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney World or the Men in Black ride at Universal Studios
Yep,
Florida,
I've
where
done both
you're
of those.
kind of like
Yeah.
you're in a vehicle, you're moving through a dark ride with these elaborate sets, but you're also shooting targets.
Yep.
But what makes the Mario Kart ride different from those is that those have like physical sets you're looking at. This one, you're wearing essentially AR goggles. So the characters will appear virtually on your screen, and it kind of gives a vibe similar to like, say, the Spider-Man ride where everything's popping at you in 3D. So you kind of like have both the physical, which is like the actual track, but then the digital, which is like the Mario characters racing over the tracks, is how I understand it.
That's fun.
Yeah, what was that? What was that like for you, Fork? Like, how did you feel about the effect and how everything looked? Did it work?
I think the effect is quite good. Of course, it definitely it looks like an AR projected image.
Yeah,
And but it's quite clear and everything. And if you kind of like turn your head, like you can see like the out, what is outside your field of view. So it's, even though like you can't see 360, it feels like there is something everywhere. So no matter where you look, it's not like you like see like the cutoff of the image or anything like that. It
right.
feels like everything is around you. And so it's kind of a mix between the racers, like the Team Koopa. Of course, you've got like Bowser and the Koopalings, and then you've also got other people on your team, like Peach was there and a bunch of other Mario characters. And so you're trying to just beat Team Koopa. And the way you do this is by collecting coins, collecting item blocks, and then shooting shells at Team Koopa. So like the steering wheel has on the top like these two red buttons. So you press them to just like spam shells at the enemy, and if you hit them, they'll eventually spin out. And you also spin out as well. I don't know if this is pre. I guess this would have to be like predetermined, not depending like on your performance, because everyone has to go at the same pace. So it's kind of a mix between like you're seeing like the racers, but the field or track is like real items. So like you do like the normal like Mario circuit, and there's a really good one where you're in the clouds and you kind of like get into the glider, and so like you can feel like the wind going at you, even though your cart is still on the ground. It does a really good like illusion of like, oh, you're flying. And of course, like the last part is the wonderful Rainbow Road. And typically inside the Mario Kart ride, it is quite dark because they need it to be kind of dark for the AR image to pop more.
Right.
So it's kind of a bit weird because some of the tracks you would play in Mario Kart are kind of darker than normal. Um, but once you get to Rainbow Road, it definitely really feels like, oh, I'm inside Rainbow Road. Um, and outside of that, they also have like a lot of like real like enemies as well, like the cloud blower guys whose name I don't remember from like 3D World
Oh
and
yeah.
Is
Mario
it
Odyssey.
Taifu?
Yeah, that's it. Like they have like a really big one of those that blows the wind at you, so that's really cool. And like the chain chomp and all these other ones. And the ride lasts about 5 minutes, and it's not really intense. So like I think small kids can also enjoy it, and you're not really going up and down so much. You mostly kind of like side to side, and then sometimes you go 360 by when you spin out. And then at the end, you get like a reward screen. It will say like, "Oh, Team Mario" or "Team Koopa." So the person ahead of me, actually, Team Koopa won. So I can kind of see like their victory screen a bit. But then on my victory screen, it was Team Mario. So I kind of saw like both endings, quote unquote. Uh,
Right.
so yeah,
Yeah.
the ride is actually it's really a really cool way to like visualize Mario Kart, because you want to like translate the hecticness and the visuals to the real life. Um, so there's no blue shells or anything though. You're really just shooting out like
Yeah.
everyone on your car has like a different shell color. I think mine was just red, but somebody else had like green and somebody else had like pink. Uh, so everyone is just like really just spamming these shells all the time. So we can get pretty hectic. And there is like a score, like how many coins you collected and everything, but everything is going like hectic all the time. So it's kind of hard to pay attention to like every little detail. Really just, driving and spinning around. And the other stuff is just there for fun. But the Mario Kart ride is definitely like really well thought out. And it really like met my expectations. The ride is about 5 minutes or so. So I think that's pretty typical for a lot of theme park rides.
Mhm.
But this is definitely something worth doing when you get to Super Nintendo World.
So, I so about the Mario Kart ride. So, when it comes to the controls, so it sounds like what you do is you press a button to fire a Koopa shell, but
Yeah.
from what I understand, you have to like move your head towards a character to kind of like aim the shell. Is that right?
I would say so, yes, because you can also steer a bit. The steering is one of the things that, not a criticism, but it's a bit vague. It's like, what am I actually contributing towards, or what is predetermined? like I mentioned before, like the spin outs, I think those are definitely predetermined. And the shells that you shoot are definitely not predetermined because I think it definitely, it takes a certain number of shells before, like, for example, Roy gets knocked out or whatever. So I'm typically looking like straight ahead all the time when I'm on the cart. So I can't really say like I looked towards my left 90 degrees and shot shells at him. I can't really say if that had any effect or not because I think most people are
Okay.
kind of looking, kind of straight ahead or like a little bit to the side, but nothing like 360.
Right. So it
Right.
wasn't like disorienting, like you're making a turn and then you look the opposite direction to shoot someone with a shell, like nothing kind of straining like that.
No, no, it's pretty smooth. Like I think yeah, kids can like it. I wasn't dizzy after the ride or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's pretty like smooth and um, yeah, I think anyone could enjoy it. But I think even if you want like a really more intense, like quote unquote authentic Mario experience, where you're just flying off the track, um, I think you would still enjoy it just because of how they translate the aesthetics, and it definitely feels like you're in Mario Kart, which is what they wanted to convey.
So
Right. So that's one thing that I kind of like heard about the ride that's a criticism is that it doesn't go fast, which is kind of what you would expect from a Mario Kart,
Yeah, it's more.
experience, but they traded that for interactivity, for like making it more like a video game. So did you like feel like that interpretation of it was like, still a good ride or fun, even though it wasn't like a coaster or
Yeah, it's definitely closer to like 50 cc or 100 cc than like 200 cc.
yeah.
If that gives you an idea. So, in terms of speed, yeah, you're really not going in there for like the feeling of speed, which some people might say is a criticism because, of course, Mario Kart. That's one of the best parts is that you're going super super fast. Um, but yeah, instead of relying on the speed, it relies more on kind of the experience and like transporting you to these different places.
so I guess one thing I'm not totally understanding is how exactly do you aim the shells? Do you just kind of hit
So
the button and they fly towards the closest target, or?
right. So this is something that's kind of confusing about the Mario Kart ride is from what I understand, the instructions for actually how to play the game, none of it is voiced in the construction or sorry, in the like gameplay video in the queue because it's Lakitu like showing it to you, showing it to guests like how to do it. It's all like visual kind of aids.
Right.
Um so from seeing that video from footage, how I understood it is that you press the button on the steering wheel to fire a Koopa shell,
Howdy.
but you actually got to aim your head, like point your head towards the character you want to shoot. So there'll be some kind of like head tracking with the AR
Okay.
display, and that's how you aim.
手伝ってくれます?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, Fork had mentioned this earlier about the steering. Um, I believe what the steering wheel is for is that there will be parts in the ride where you'll see like blinking arrows on the AR display pointing like left or right. And if you steer the steering wheel in that
Yes.
direction at that moment, you'll net a few coins. Is
Yeah.
so it's like
Okay.
you don't actually turn the cart at all, but it's just like, oh, if you turn left at this specific moment, we'll award you some digital coins. Your physical movement won't change, but it'll count
Yeah.
towards your total in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
you.
that's something they really don't explain. Like when you're watching the video of how to get on the ride, most of the video explaining like, oh, how to sit into the cart and how to attach the visor
Yeah.
doesn't like run down like the rules of like,
Right.
okay, if you want to knock out Roy, you need to aim this way and then press this button at this time. It doesn't do anything like that. So it is kind of vague. And I think a lot of people they might even miss like, oh, you can shoot shells if you don't like kind of know ahead of time, or if you don't notice that on the top of the steering wheel or buttons. I think they could be a bit more clear about how to succeed at the ride. But I
Yeah,
think most people are just riding it just to look at stuff and spin around.
Right. So
I
like.
do think they could explain the interactive parts more because like there does seem to be like a lot of rules. Like for instance, if you shoot someone on Team Mario with a Koopa shell, like if you shoot Luigi, apparently you'll actually
Yes.
lose coins. So you're
Yeah.
supposed to shoot the Team Bowser instead. And
Right.
the way to get the good ending where Team Mario wins the race is I think everyone in your vehicle has to collectively earn like 100 coins combined. So if you get less than 100 coins, then Bowser wins. So that kind of like part with like the alternating endings. I don't know if that got explained as well in the Q video, but yeah, there are a lot of details about this ride that I can see it kind of being confusing to like the general public on their first, run through Mario Kart, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. The more like beforehand knowledge you go in with it, I think the more fun you will have. Because of course you want to win and you want to get the most out of the experience. But even if you kind of don't know anything, it's still, I think a lot of kids will still think it's fun to just spam shells and just like go through the track. But that is something I think they could, improve in the future. And
Got to make sure
when,
I get my pre-made group ready.
yeah,
With
You
my
got a
friends
queue
to sit
Mario
down.
Kart.
yeah, your
I don't-
LFG.
Yeah, I'm not looking to pug the Mario Kart experience.
Oh
all
my
right.
god. I bet if you get the right crew and you suck, you can get carried.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no. My
like-
my crew's min-maxing, dude.
But
We're watching all the videos beforehand.
when you do the Mario Kart ride, and obviously you have the ending or whatever, everything that you do is tracked through that Universal app, so you can kind of see like how you did after the fact on
Yeah.
the Mario Kart ride, right? So you said
Yeah.
you guys lost, your team lost.
Oh, my team won, but the team ahead of me lost because I could
Oh.
see the Team Koopa like winning screen. It's kind of weird
Right.
because like you can see. I don't know how I could see theirs because I guess I was looking through the VR or the AR thing. I
Right.
don't know how I could see theirs, to be honest. But I saw like both versions,
Right.
so it was kind of weird.
So the idea is that like by car, essentially, it will decide if you win or lose. It's not
Yeah,
like
by car.
everybody on the ride wins or loses.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely by car.
Okay.
So yeah, after that, like once you exit, you're brought into the Mario Motors like
Yeah.
gift shop. So this is a Mario Kart themed gift shop. So and it looks really awesome because it has a lot of the Mario Kart items inside of the place. So you have like Mario Kart or Mario on the glider, like he's a really big statue on top. But they also have like the boxes and tires and all this other really cool stuff. It looks like kind of like a pit stop in Mario Kart. And also like all the people, the attendants are wearing like this Mario Kart jumpsuit, which looks really awesome. And inside the Mario Motors, there's a lot of items that you can buy. So some of the items you can kind of buy everywhere, but a lot of the Mario Kart specific ones are only in here. Like they have like the blue shell plushies and like Mario Kart keychains and things like that.
Right.
So if you're like more of a Mario Kart person, this is where you want to get like your Mario Kart items. They don't have anything like really crazy in terms of like some super special Mario Kart thing. One thing I did notice is that they have like hand warmers that are shaped like the blue shell or shaped like Bullet Bill, so you can put both your hands in both ends and like just like warm up your hands.
That's funny.
Nothing makes me think of Bullet Bill more than warm comfort.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
got that bullet exhaust or whatever, right?
Yeah,
he's,
definitely.
he's the most
When you're
comforting
inside the
Mario
Bullet
villain.
Bill power up in Mario Kart, you must feel pretty warm.
That's
Yeah.
probably true. It probably is. You're screaming. You're probably in a lot of pain.
Yeah. But you said so
And-
this you get dumped out into here from it, but you can also access
Yeah.
this just from the park, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden, but it is like kind of next to Bowser's castle.
Gotcha.
Is the theming kind of like the like Mario Kart 8? Like has all those like fake companies, Like
Yeah, it definitely
Kinda
looks
like
like they
that.
modeled this after Mario Kart 8. Like the aesthetic is totally Mario Kart 8. Like the
That's cool.
Mario Kart text, it's not like the Super Mario Kart like crazy text. It is like the streamlined like racing Mario Kart.
cool.
And the tracks
Yeah.
represented in the ride are basically Mario Kart 8, right?
Yeah, like you're not doing like SNES like donut planes or anything like that.
Right.
It is like a Rainbow Road and like the stuff you would see in Mario Kart 8.
Wait, is it like
Uh,
Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road, like the one on the space station?
Oh, actually no, that one is more like I guess the N64 Rainbow Road is what it mostly looks like.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
The Mario
yeah.
Kart 8 version of the N64 Rainbow Road.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, um, after that, I wanted to go to it was about 10:30ish or so. And so, of course, I went to go to Kinopio's Cafe, Toad's Cafe, the
Yeah.
big restaurant they have inside of the Super Nintendo World.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry,
uh,
real quick. Would you
go
say
ahead.
the Mario Kart theme shop is like the main shop in there? Because I know there's a couple,
Actually,
right?
no, I would say the One Up Factory is the main shop. It's
Okay.
definitely much bigger
Okay. Anyway,
than,
we'll get there, but yeah, keep
yeah.
going. So Kinopio's
Uh,
Cafe is the main,
yes,
the food hub.
yes, and it's shaped like a toad house.
Right.
So I
So
I went
cute.
there. It was 10:30, but I thought, well, if I wait in line, by the time I get in there, it'll be lunchtime.
Mhm.
And again, when I got in line, they were giving away the timed entry ticket, the Sadikin. So my ticket was for 12:30 to enter.
Wow.
So it's kind of weird. You're lining up to get a ticket to line up again. Uh,
Right.
so, but that's a pretty good time, like 12:30 to enter. If I started lining up at 12:30, they might give me a ticket for like 3 o'clock.
Mhm.
So that's a bit worrisome. And so I got the ticket for 12:30. So I thought, okay, well, I have about 2 hours. There's plenty to do, for 2 hours before lunch. But I was still a bit hungry, so I went to Yoshi's Snack Island,
Mm.
which is on the lower section, kind of across from the Kinopio Cafe and next to the One Up Factory gift shop. And this is kind of just a small snack shop. They sell different food, and what I got was like a Koopa calzone. It's like a Koopa shell, and inside is like noodles and meat and cheese.
So that's what
And
they're
this,
made of.
I guess so, yeah. You jump on them, and it's just noodles come out.
Can't believe they didn't sell eggs.
And they also have like a lassi, like that type of a drink from
Mm.
India
Yeah,
or
that's a
something.
good. Yep.
So I got the Koopa shell, and I got the Yoshi mango lassi, which doesn't really, it just tastes like mango lassi.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty good.
the
But it
Koopa
has the
shell
word
is,
Yoshi in it.
yeah, it has Yoshi on the cup, so pay $7, please,
Mhm.
or whatever. But the Koopa calzone was actually quite good. Like if you can't get into the cafe, but you're really hungry, this definitely can give you some calories to survive for quite a while.
How big is it?
So it's about maybe like bigger than a baseball, I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's filled. It's not like you bite into it and it's air
Yeah.
coming out.
Right.
So I ate that, and then I did a bit of shopping. I jumped into the One Up Factory, which has a lot of if you want to do like shopping, then this is a good place to do it. To be honest, I'm trying to think what is inside Super Nintendo World that is not in the other Universal Studios like stores, and honestly, not a lot. Like you can do most of your shopping technically outside of Super Nintendo World. Like if you want to, just enjoy Super Nintendo World, and then before you leave, get some merch, you can totally do that. Um,
Right.
so
Where
one item,
is that where they sell those like popcorn things?
yes, that's actually a different stand outside of the One Up Factory.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? I think it has a name, but
Is
I
it
think it
like
just
the Superstar Popcorn or something, or
something like that. Yeah, it is.
Pit Stop Popcorn or something? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Gartooth, you probably know a lot about like the popcorn culture of theme parks. This is something a lot of theme parks are doing. But basically, you get in line and you pay like $20 for a big box of popcorn, and they give you like an exclusive like case to carry it. So they have two different ones: Starman, not the Earthbound Starman, the
Yeah.
normal
The
Starman,
Mario one.
and yeah, the Mario one.
Sorry,
Disappointing.
Earthbound
The,
fans.
the Earthbound one would be awesome, but and they also have like a Mario Kart one with Mario inside it.
Oh yeah,
So
I think I've seen that.
actually, I skipped the popcorn to be honest, because when I went to Disney Sea, I bought that, but it's just so huge, and now that thing is just like under my, like it's just near my pots and pans, like in a cabinet somewhere.
Right.
It's really useful if you're wanting to snack throughout the day, so that way you don't need to line up. But I was filled with my Koopa calzone, so I wasn't really hungry,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to like carry this around.
Yeah,
But
that'd be annoying.
the Starman does light up,
Yes.
which at nighttime it looks awesome. So I did kind of regret it at that time once I saw it lighting up at night. But
So this one I've actually seen in person because we've
Oh.
had we had Nintendo Fangirl on the podcast one episode a long time ago for Zelda, but they let some of the Nintendo ambassadors and stuff get certain items from Super Nintendo World, and she got the Star Tin or the Star
Oh, that's
Popcorn thing.
awesome.
And it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty big, and it looks really cool. I think what you can
Yeah.
put it around your neck, right? Is that
Yeah, it comes
Yeah.
with all these popcorn things come with the strap. Like Disneyland has it, Universal has it. It's like the big new. I don't know if it's new, but pretty much every big theme park has this popcorn gimmick.
does it make
so-
noise? Does it make the Starman theme, or is it just?
I
light
didn't
up?
hear it, but I only saw it light up. But I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if it did make the noise. So yeah, I went shopping, and then since I have some time before lunch, I started to do the power up stuff.
Right. So I'm very
so-
interested to hear about this and what you thought about it.
Yeah, so you have your band, and throughout the park is a lot of things you can interact with. So the big, I guess, power up activity is getting like the star coins, and then eventually you fight Bowser Jr.
Ooh.
But you can. There's a ton of stuff that's not even related to that is still usable with the power up band. So on the Universal Studios Japan app, there's like a section for Super Nintendo World, and inside this keeps all your stats and everything. So you can see like how many coins you have, how many star coins you have. There's also stamps to collect, which are kind of like achievements. And
Right, like from
there's-
3D World.
Yes, and there's quite a lot of there's. I'm looking at it now, and there's 170 stamps that you can collect.
Wow.
And there's no way you're going to get all of them at the same time, because some of them are like weirdly specific. One of them is like ride Mario Kart 5 times,
Right.
and one is like, oh, get the starting bonus at the Mario Kart track. So not only do you need to like do it, you need to do like
Do it
certain
well.
things inside, inside the race.
Wow.
Like, oh, you need to knock out like 2 Koopas in the race.
That's great. It tracks all that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Kind of cool to
and-
give you like a reason to like go back and like do it
Mhm.
again too.
Yeah, because like I can access it. I'm looking at it right now, and like it has all my data, so it definitely saves it for like repeat visits. It is kind of funny that you need to put in a name, and it saves your name, I guess, in like a database. Because I tried Fork, and they said like, oh, Fork is already taken, so
Mhm.
you have to pick like a more like rare or specific name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny, but and you
Wow,
pick
that's
like an
kind of
avid-
wild.
Yeah, I wonder who else took Fork. I'm
Now, if you don't have a power up band though, my understanding is there's monitors across the park that you can see some of the stuff on, like at least some of
Yeah.
it.
There's like scoreboards for like the daily leaders and things like that.
Can you like
Wow.
can
That's
you like
awesome.
can you so basically like if you don't have the app, I'm assuming you don't get like all the detail, but like you can still see like important stuff like leaderboards.
Yeah, and even on the app now, I can see like what's going on active at the park now. Like
okay.
the ranking, there's like a rankings. The ranking that ends in 18 minutes. Mario team is ahead. Second place is Luigi team, and last place is Team Peach.
Mm.
So, and let's
Damn.
see, where am I? Okay, there's daily rankings. I'm at the bottom of the daily rankings, of course, because I'm not there now.
Right.
I'm like number like 5,000 something. But
Yeah, excuses.
Do they have an all-time ranking?
I'm not sure. I would have to probably dig into there.
Yeah.
Who's doing the best today?
Because you're on teams. I'm trying to see the daily. I'm at the bottom. Hold on. Can I scroll to the top? Number one is somebody named Yu Kinopi. They have 22,222 points.
Wow. They're probably like a season pass
I-
holder.
I cannot translate that to like what that means.
Yeah.
Oh, there is an all-time. Okay, there is an all-time ranking I'm seeing here. I think it maxes out at 9,999 because there's a lot of people at 9,999.
Yeah.
Number one is somebody named Woodpecker, and they have
Awesome.
Woody Woodpecker's Revenge.
That's
and they're
so
tied.
good.
They're tied with Ken Mario, and they have 9,999,999 points.
Pretty
Damn.
good.
Well, I'm
Goodness
guessing that is the top.
gracious.
So yeah, actually, yeah. So it is like, as you can tell, it is quite in depth. The app.
I wonder if there's a stamp for maxing out the coin.
There might be like there's
Yeah.
a ton of stamps. There's like ones for every section. There's like a Mario Kart one. There's a general Super Nintendo one, World one. There's one for Yoshi. So the power up band, like, there's a bunch of different things you can do. So of course you can like hit the block and then it makes like the sound, and then you get the coins from that block into your, I guess, your app or into your band.
Right.
And on the bottom of the band has a QR code, so that's how you connect it to the app. But you can do this like afterwards, because I didn't even notice, and I was like collecting coins. But then after I scanned, everything that I was collecting was already like in the app. So
Oh, okay.
it saves. I guess it saves to like the band, not so
Right.
much the app. Um, so that part is like, yeah, really cool. And there's a bunch of different things you can hit.
Is there
Of
like
course,
if you hit the same block again, I'm assuming it will not give you coins again? Like, is it,
I honestly don't know. Like I wasn't like
or if there's like a
min-maxing that much,
cooldown? Yeah.
but there is a cooldown, because one thing you'll notice is that kids are just like slamming these blocks, like they're hitting it as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So like, and like another thing I wanted to mention is like the park, everything is like pretty sturdy. Like I didn't notice like any like paint chippings or like
That's
things
good.
that are broken.
Yeah, I was
'Cause,
wondering
of course,
about that.
like they're like going to town on this stuff, and it is like it is hard, but it doesn't hurt like when you hit it. I guess if you punched it like as hard as you could, maybe it would hurt a bit. But
It's not like you're like
it-
hitting concrete or something.
yeah, it's not like that. And so you hit it for coins, and there's different blocks have like different sounds. There is a POW block, and it's really cool because if you hit the POW block, the coin blocks above the POW block will also activate.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so that's really cool.
Hmm.
And there's also like the music blocks that you can make the sounds, which is really cool. I was hoping the music blocks would be like kind of like squishy, but they're not.
Mhm.
In my head, like the blocks are like squishy since you can bounce off of them,
Yeah.
Right.
but they're kind of just the same as the other blocks.
Mhm.
And of course, like the Bowser coin collecting thing is like the main activity. But there's also ones that are not related to that. Like there's the slot machine where it has like the 5 cubes. I guess like
Like
the
from-
Toad House or like Mario Party.
Is it like the 3D World one where it's like the glamorous like bonus stage slot machine?
Yeah, exactly. It is like that.
Hmm.
So like the park in general is kind of based on 3D World, which is kind of a interesting take on it.
Mm.
I guess that is technically, well, Odyssey of course is like the quote unquote newest Mario, but that's such like a weird, like totally different type of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've probably
So
been
in ter-
planning this for a while too.
And yeah, in terms of like the Mushroom Kingdom, like 3D World is the most updated look and take on it. But I think
Right.
that really translates quite well to like the real life attraction, because it has stuff you're familiar with, even if you haven't played Mario in a long time. Um, it's still quite familiar. It doesn't have like really weird enemies or anything like that. Of course, it has like the thwomp, and it has the fire piranha plant and the fire piranha plant, the normal piranha plant, and the piranha plant is kind of like rubbery a little bit, which is good because it has to open and close its mouth quite a bit. And the coins and like the Goombas and everything like that, it all looks very authentic and kind of modeled off of 3D World. And so,
About 3D World. So I think the reason why they modeled it off 3D World is back when this deal closed in around, I want to say it was 7 years ago. So like late Wii U era. 3D World would have been the latest mainline Mario at the time, and I think the rumor goes that like Universal was originally looking at like, the really classic Mario games, like the ones that like, are kind of the more iconic ones, like, the NES one or the, Mario 64 kind of a thing. But I believe the rumor is that Nintendo pushed for more representation of the modern games, which is why, it still looks like the Mushroom Kingdom, but then you get things from like 3D World, like you get Mount Beanpole in the center of the land, even though that's from the Sprixie Kingdom, or strange things like that, like eccentricities.
Right.
It's or like the slot machine house or things like that.
Yeah,
so.
I usually forget
Yeah.
that 3D World doesn't actually take place in Mushroom Kingdom, even though like it looks pretty much
Yeah.
it's like a stand-in
Mhm.
for it essentially.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's a smart aesthetic to translate to real life because it's both familiar, but also a bit updated. Like it takes a lot of the common Mario conventions and did update them.
Right.
So yeah, I did like the slot machine, and yeah, sad to say, I did fail at the slot machine because there is a timeout. Because I was trying to be like there's 5 blocks, and I was trying to be very specific to get the stars, but then like suddenly it just like stopped because the guy says, "Oh, actually, there's a timer." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me this beforehand? Before I
Yeah.
was like waiting."
Is there any
But,
lag, like when you hit the block to stop the slot machine, or is it pretty
you
instantaneous?
you want to. It is kind of like Mario, where you kind of want to hit the one before,
Right.
so it kind of like rolls over. So it goes like mushroom then star. So like when you see the mushroom, you kind of want to hit it, so that way it'll roll into the star.
So I'm assuming
So
like
that's
if you get like stars, you just get like more coins or whatever.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
I saw somebody get like all the mushrooms, and
Mhm.
it's still like, oh, you did well, you did that. So I guess it is like based on the coins, and so yeah, not everything is exactly tied into the Bowser Jr. challenge. There's a bunch of other ones where like there's an interactive screen where you're like breaking blocks and everything, and so the ones that do have the Koopa coins, there are 5 coins to collect, and you actually only need 3 to fight Bowser Jr., which I
Mhm.
didn't know. I thought you needed all 5.
Yeah.
Uh, so I did collect 3 coins, but I didn't fight Bowser Jr., sadly to say. Yeah, I didn't 100% the park, to be honest. But I did do quite a bit. So I think the
Mm.
best one I did was the like I don't know what it's called, but like Bombs challenge,
Hmm.
where you're going into like the underground section, and so it turns into like the light purple and bluish blocks, and not only that, but you're kind of like shrunk down. So it's like a giant bomb that is at the end of the back of the room, and there's also these huge like question blocks, which are really cool, especially because I'm quite tall. Well, not quite tall, but a lot of the blocks are like kid size. So for them, they can really get under the block quite easily. But a lot of the blocks that you hit, you kind of have to like bend down and like hit the block.
Mm.
Oh,
So
good. It'll
this
be
one was
good for
like,
my short ass.
yeah. So this one was like quite big, so a kid cannot reach it. So I felt like, oh, this is the adult block. So I was able to hit it.
Finally,
Have
a
fun.
block for
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah. And I think like CM asked me like earlier, like, oh, do you need to tap the like the amiibo part to it, or can you just hit it like Mario? And yeah, you can just kind of punch it. There is like some sort of range to the NFC reader, so you don't have to just hit the like the NFC part of the block.
Yeah.
So it's a bit open.
I really like that
And
because like the whole thing is that you're supposed to feel like you are there and like who like you want to punch the block. Like kids are gonna
yeah,
want to punch the block, and
yeah,
if you punch the block and you don't get the result, then it feels silly. Like I don't want to like just tap the thing to it.
I want to
yeah.
punch the block.
I want to punch the block so
I
bad,
don't want to
dude.
punch the block, knock
I
that
want
block
to
off.
punch the. Oh my god,
I want to fist the Mario block so bad, dude.
that's not what I said.
No.
No, I want to hit it like Mario.
Yeah, same.
So the Bob-omb challenge, there's like a huge Bob-omb, and then there's different on the walls. There's different touch screens, and you need to touch the different parts of the broken key coin, and then all those go to like the main touch screen under the Bob-omb, and then you have to like move it through the touch screen. You have to match the parts of the coin to make the actual coin, and then if you do it right before it explodes, then you get the coin for yourself. But I did see the like team ahead of me. They did fail, so I'm like, oh, do they need to line up again, or do they need to just like cut their losses and try to get a different coin? But I was able to get it, so it's pretty fun because you're on a team with other people, and everyone's like running around to these different walls and trying to touch the blocks. So it is like quite interactive,
So
and I think
that one is like is actually a team activity. It's not an
yeah,
individual. That's interesting.
yeah. Actually, I think most of them are like team oriented
Okay,
because
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
So
interesting.
there's 5 mini games, and the Goomba and Koopa Troopa themed ones are single player, but then the
hmm,
ones themed to Piranha Plant, Thwomp, and Bob-omb are all team based. So there's multiple people like in a session trying to work together to
That's pretty
finish the
smart.
game.
Yeah.
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 Like yeah, the Koopa one is like there's like a shell that's going through the I don't know how to describe it, like the 3 entry block. Like there's
Hmm.
a left entrance, a right entrance, and like a top one. And there's like a spinning shell, and you have to time the hit so the shell goes up and then like hits the Koopa. So if you mess up, then the shell just keeps going left to right.
Right. That's cool because that's like an actual like Mario game action where you're like trying to like hit a block underneath an enemy or a shell or something to either knock it or whatever. I think that's a particularly cool, very simple translation of Mario games like into the park.
Yeah. And there's also for the power up band, if you see like an M like logo, if you
Hmm.
touch it, you'll see like a 3D, not a 3D, but like a 8-bit like projection of like Mario or Bowser or Peach. So there's a lot of like hidden things in the park that I think a lot of people won't notice unless they're like have a guide or if you're
Yeah.
really exploring, which is really cool because it definitely makes you want to go back. Because I didn't do every single thing there. So next time I go there, I definitely want to like clean up and try to do what I want. But it can also be maybe overwhelming for people who do want to 100% it. So I kind of recommend like just do what you want to do. Don't feel
Yeah.
like you need to like do every single little thing because it can add up. Like the line to get like the 1 star coin or the key coin, it took it like 30 minutes to get the bomb from like lining up to getting the coin. So,
Yeah.
you're only there for like 1 day. And if you want to see other Universal Studio stuff, then, it can kind of like cut into your time. So it kind of depends on, what you want to do. Don't feel like you need to do everything
Would you
because
would
there's
you
plenty
say
to
like
do.
would you say the single player ones are a bit shorter in general, like in terms of like how long it takes to do them?
Um, I would say maybe yes. Like the slot machine, I was in line for about 15 minutes. And
Okay.
the Koopa Shell one, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes as well.
Gotcha.
But again, I went on like a very busy day. So it
Yeah.
depends like on a lot of factors. So,
How do
depending
how
on,
do they how do they handle the lines within the park? That's something I've been wondering because the park seems like a very condensed and dense space, and I'm kind of like
yeah.
having trouble imagining how you even like queue for certain things like the mini games.
Yeah. A lot of the mini games are kind of interior based. Like the Bob-omb one, you have to go like into a building and then like you kind of snake underground. So that line is kind of like separated from the like the normal park area.
Hmm.
And the Koopa Shell one, it is outside, but it's still kind of like close to the wall. There is like a queue, like not a fence or anything, but there is like a kind of a clear, like roped off section where you need to queue. And
That's
I think
interesting.
because there's so many different things to do that there's not one queue that becomes like so obscenely long that it starts interfering with other parts of the park.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's just a ton of to do. So if something is like busy, then you can just go somewhere else and do something.
I imagine there's like the queue probably cuts off at some point too. Like if it's like too many people. I don't
Yeah,
know if you
definitely.
experienced that. Okay.
I would say so. And so after I did like the power up stuff a bit, I got in line for the Kinopio Cafe. So
Oh,
Yes.
about 12:30.
just one
Oh,
quick
go
thing
ahead.
about the power up stuff. So you did the Bob-omb key coin. What were the other key coins you did?
I did the Koopa shell one where you have to hit the shell,
Mhm.
and the other one. And I'm scrolling through my pictures. I did the slot machine, but that one's not a key coin one. What is the other one I'm doing? Maybe I
I
didn't
think
take a
there's
picture.
Goomba, Thwomp, or Piranha Plant.
Uh, Hold on, which one did I do? Maybe the Goomba one. Which is that the crank one? Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you
the
spin
Goomba
a
one is like
crank to throw a
yeah,
Goomba
need
off.
to like turn this crank. That one was like pretty simple. Um,
It's kind
but
of
I think
neat as an
yeah, my favorite
interaction.
my favorite one is definitely the Bob-omb one because you're going underground and you can see like the huge like Bob-omb. So that one was really cool. I did look online like what is the Thwomp one, and it is like another touchscreen one where you're doing like the panels, like the blue and yellow question block panels,
Hmm.
and you have to like touch the interactive screen. Yeah, a lot of different interactive screen ones that you have to like touch, which is really fun for kids. Um,
Yeah,
because yeah, a
kids
lot
love
of the,
touchscreens.
yeah, everything you kind of do in the park, you're really like moving and doing something. So it's really feels like yeah, you're inside a game. It's not just like it's not a passive experience at all.
Yeah, it's not like you're just like, scanning a card to open up something or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
there's some kind of action to it. And you
and
get stamps for doing these too? Like if you like
yeah,
do the Koopa game or whatever. Can you
yeah,
do anything with the stamps? Like can you share them on social media or like make pictures with them or is it just
um, let me see. I have the app open still. It really shows you the stamp. I guess you can like take a screenshot with your phone and like
right?
post it on Twitter or whatever.
It'd be cute
Like
if you could like use the app to like make a special photo and like put stamps on it that you got or
Yeah.
something against a background, even something simple like that. I
The
was just
stamps do
thinking
give you
about that.
the stamps do give you coins, like a coin bonus.
Oh, okay, that's
Like
cool.
the I'm looking at it now. The punch a pow block stamp gave me 25 coins, and what are some other ones I have? Yeah, collect a fire flower power up is 35 coins. So that yeah, different blocks have like different things like around them.
Right.
And inside the Super Nintendo World app, it does show you like where are blocks. I think there are like hidden ones as well. But if
Yeah.
you're kind of unsure, like, oh, where should I go? Definitely refer to the app in terms of like what you can interact with.
Yeah.
And so yeah, back to the Canopio
Yeah.
Cafe.
So this I'm excited to hear about. This
Yeah.
sounds like a really cool experience.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm also referring to my pictures in case I forget something. But I got in line at 12:30. Again, if you get there at 12:25, they're not going to let you line up. It's 12:30. You got to start lining up.
You get there at 12:30. Damn it.
Yeah. So the line was, quite long because a lot of people and it's lunchtime. And I would say from the like lining up to like a burger is in my mouth, it takes about an hour. So kind of expect that.
Right.
But again, I went on like a crowded day. So when you're actually inside Kinopio's Cafe, the first thing you can see is the huge two, like 3D World-esque Toad House like present boxes.
Oh yeah.
So those are like hovering above, and there's a touch screen where you can kind of like pick one, and then you get like a power up or whatever. I don't know if that's.
Yeah,
go
I was gonna
ahead.
ask, does it like give you coins depending on what power up you get, or is it like a stamp depending on what power up you get, or something?
Maybe I think so because I'm kind of wondering like, oh, how did I get like the fire flower, or how did I get such and such? It might be based on that, or it just might just be for fun, just the touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see the huge two like presents, the small one and the big one, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, it definitely feels like you are inside a Toad house. And inside the line, you see Chef Kinopio or Chef Toad, and they're basically it's like this red chef, where it's like the how can I explain it? Like the red part is it's like the colors are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
It has like white dots instead of red dots,
Right.
and red head or whatever it's called. So this is like a character created just for the park. He's exclusive here. And so he's kind of talking about, oh, I'm making some food or whatever. It is in Japanese and it is fully voiced. So of course I'm thinking the entire time about like Keegan Michael Key, because the voices are like not dissimilar. They're going for like a very similar type of idea,
Right.
where it's like high pitched but also kind of like a bit raspy, almost kind of like Marge Simpson a little bit.
Oh God, no! I'm just imagining Marge Simpson as a toad.
Because yeah, it is like a similar idea where it's like it's high pitched, but it's not like super cutesy, and there is like a raspiness to it.
Do they have
And-
subtitles on the screen? Like, can you read it too?
No, so
Okay.
you're really just listening, and inside is kind of loud, so even then you're kind of not hearing exactly
Yeah, that's
every
what I
little
was
bit of
thinking.
thing Chef Toad is saying, but it's obviously voiced by like a Japanese woman, opposed to like Keegan Michael Key, who is like you can tell like that going back to the Mario trailer, like they're doing some like audio like adjustments to make it a bit more high pitched.
Yep.
So you can kind of tell like when a woman voice actor does like a child or like a young boy, like for example like Bart Simpson, you can kind of tell like, oh, it's a woman. It's like a certain inflection to it. And so you're kind of like just snaking around the Toad House, and then once you get into the where you order, it's really cool because like it has in the background the different like power ups. So you can see like a like mushroom, you can see a fire flower, a tanuki flower, the acorn from New Super Mario Brothers U, and there's some Yoshi eggs, and they also have the radish from
Oh yeah.
yeah,
The turnips
that one's
from-
like the turnip. So that one is really cool, and the bell, of course. And these are like quite big, and yeah, they definitely look really cool to see these live and in person.
Do they have the propeller mushroom?
I'm looking at it now. No, I'm seeing the radish mushroom, fire flower, blue Yoshi egg, tanuki leaf, green Yoshi egg, bell, tiny mushroom, acorn mushroom, ice flower, one-up mushroom, and pink Yoshi egg. So
Oh,
these
the
are your
ice flower
options.
is nice too.
Yeah.
If only they had the penguin suit.
Yeah, they didn't get that. I'll talk about the penguins in a second because you do see them a little bit.
Oh, that's funny.
So you order. I don't have like the menu in front of me, but some of the menu items. I got the Mario burger. It's a bacon burger with mushrooms, and there's also like a risotto inside like toad, like a one-up mushroom.
Oh,
And so like the top is like a stew or something. Um, and there's like a bunch of other. There's like a dessert. I got the question block tiramisu, so it's kind of like shaped like a question block, and inside is the tiramisu.
right.
And there's also one cool one that I didn't order. It's like a how do I explain it? Like it's like a cake, but it's shaped like a goalpost from Mario, where it's like the
Oh.
hills.
Flagpole.
Well, it's like the hills, and then on top of the hill is the goalpost,
Okay.
which is really cool.
I was like, man,
so
it's
it's kinda
really
like-
tall cake.
It's like a really like cute diorama of like the like last section of a 3D Mario area, which is really nice. The drinks are actually not super amazing. I just got like some tea, and because they don't have like a big gimmick drink. It's pretty like standard drinks, but it is
Sure.
in like the Super Nintendo World like cup, so you can look at that. And so you order, yeah. What was my total? It was like $35 or something for like everything I ordered. So it's quite expensive, but you're trapped inside the Toad House, so it's not like you can go back or anything. So,
That's not that bad for theme park food, at least not by
Yeah.
American standards.
Mhm.
and to be honest, like the burger was, it was pretty good. Like it was not thin, and inside the burger is like herbs, so it's not like something they bought from Burger King.
Yeah, and throw like a
They're
McDonald's burger in
reselling.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually quite good. This is not a bad burger, I would say. And so you order, and then you're given like a, like the panel, like the blue yellow panel from like 3D World, as
Mm.
like your order number,
Oh.
and then you get your drink at like the drink station, and in the drink station, that's when you see the penguins. They're like on like the screen. So it's like, oh, the ice and penguins, and they're like preparing your drink and everything like that.
Oh, that's
So
cute.
it's really cool to see the penguins. And like it has like the one up, not the one up, the green pipe, but it's like iced over, which is a really cool aesthetic.
That's funny.
Yeah. So you get your drink, and hold on, let me get my own drink now. You get your drink, and then the attendant will seat you. I was able to sit at like a mushroom table. There's also like the like the cushion seats and everything like that as well. But when you enter the actual Toad House restaurant section, it's really awesome because there's a huge pillar in the center, and on the top of the pillar is the super mushroom, and there's like a pipe coming down from it. And then on the ceiling,
do a voice search.
oh, sorry, sorry.
Sorry,
On
my
the
bad.
ceiling-
The TV went on by accident.
No problem. On the ceiling, it has like the like different power ups, like kind of like almost like a, I don't know how to explain it. Not like a stained glass type of visual, but it does kind of remind me of that because they're all like in their own little section
Right.
of the power ups you saw earlier. So it's really awesome. It's like really huge and open, and then has like the super mushroom in the middle with the pipe. So it looks like really impressive. And yeah, I thought the food was quite good as well. Like, it's expensive, but I've definitely had worse. For like theme park food is quite good.
Is there
That's
good.
in the
Yeah.
actual cafe, besides the little present box touchscreen thing, is there any kind of interactive anything, or is it just like just you get your food and you sit and eat?
I don't think so. There are screens, like LED screens of like things that are happening. Like you can see like the kitchen.
Right.
But I don't think you can like touch them and like something happens. So I think the only interactive part of the cafe is maybe the front.
Yeah.
When you enter, is you can do like the present touch screen. Otherwise, it's just like, yeah, sit down, relax, eat your food.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that, I just did more power up stuff and like did shopping. I did not do the Yoshi ride, sad to say, because I asked other people who went on the Yoshi ride, and they said like, "Oh, you just kind of just sit and just go around, like the top
Yeah.
part of the theme park." I did watch it on YouTube, and yeah, you really just like, it is geared towards really little kids, and you're really just sitting. But there is some stuff that you see in the Yoshi ride, like you see Poochie, you see Captain Toad, So if you want to see like the Captain Toad statue, you got to ride the Yoshi ride. For me, because I was a bit time constrained and I was doing other stuff, I decided to skip it.
Mhm.
But next time if I go, I might want to try it out. But most people who have ridden it said like, "Oh, you can just skip it,"
Yeah.
because you're just like riding this Yoshi-shaped
Yeah.
car.
I know you has like the
Brother-
buttons that you push, like when you see an egg or whatever, is like the little
Yeah.
interactive thing.
Yeah, you can get coins and stuff, and there's like achievements. So if you really want to 100% everything, you can do it. Otherwise, like my friends like just ride Mario Kart again if you want to instead of the Yoshi one. So that might actually be better to do
Mm.
Mario Kart twice than Mario Kart and Yoshi. But you can kind of decide like how much time you have or what you want to do. And some other parts, like the Donkey Kong part is being built. You can kind of see like the entranceway to the Donkey Kong area, and you can see the palm trees um, as a tease. And there's also, of course, there's like Pikmin hidden in the park as well.
Yeah.
So that part is quite fun as well.
They have
So, yeah, I
those
spent-
AR binoculars, right? As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I didn't
binoculars.
mention that. So they have like the 3D world binoculars that are the green binoculars you've seen.
Hmm.
So at first, when you're looking at it, it just looks like binoculars. But yeah, the AR stuff starts to pop up. Like Rosalina appears, and like Koopas and all the other enemies appear in there as well. So that was a really nice surprise. And it's actually quite easy to use. It's not crowded because I think most people don't realize, oh, there's like AR gimmicks to it. Because you don't really need binoculars to look around
Right.
the theme park. So yeah, I spent quite a while in there. A lot of it was lining up because it was quite a busy day. But you can definitely spend quite many hours inside of Super Nintendo World. And I definitely want to go back and do things I was unable to do my first time around. But I guess the thesis statement is that it's definitely worth doing, and you could definitely tell there's a ton of love poured into Super Nintendo World. Of course, you can kind of criticize, they should do this, they should do this, they should do this. But as in terms of like a Super Mario segment of an amusement park, it really exceeded my expectations. There's just so much to do, so much to see. It's really just awesome just to be in this place because it really feels like you were inside of a game, which is the best thing they could have possibly done.
It sounds awesome. I definitely want to check it out. What time did you have to leave the park? Like you arrived at like 7, and you left around.
Well, I left like nighttime because actually I was there with my wife as well, and she wants to do. For me, I really just want to do the Mario stuff. But of course, she also wants to see X, Y, and Z. So,
Gotcha. So after lunch, you went to do other non-Mario things.
Yeah, I still
Got
hung around the Mario part a little, maybe an hour or two after lunch, just doing stuff and looking and taking pictures. But then after that, we did like Jaws and
Gotcha. So you got a lot done in that one day,
Yeah.
which is impressive.
yeah, like depending on like how much if you go in a group or if you go by yourself or how much you want to do, you can do quite a lot. You can spend quite a long time in there. The person who got like 9 million coins, maybe they were there from dawn to dusk. But so yeah, I'm trying to think like if you go to USJ, like you definitely can't do everything in like one day. If you want to do, I want to do Jaws, I want to do Harry Potter, I want to do Minions, I want to do XYZ. You can't do everything in one day. So, but if Super Nintendo World is your main thing, I think you'll definitely be satisfied.
Was there
So-
like any, I guess, real quick with the binoculars, was there any like interactive element with the power band, or is it was just kind of like a little toy that you can kind of look around the park and see fun stuff?
I didn't notice any interactive element. I just looked through it. So.
Okay, I mean, I figured, but
With the so would you say like Super Nintendo World would that be kind of like, let's just say on its own, if you want to ride Mario Kart, ride Yoshi, do the power up band games and Bowser Jr. and visit the Toad Cafe, would that be like a half a day thing? Would that be like a full day thing? How long do you think like a Mario fan who wants to see most of it would spend in there?
I think depending on like if you want to get, do you want to get all the star coins or, do you want to do every little thing? And, of course, depending on lines as well, because like I mentioned earlier, each star coin is like, that takes like 30 minutes to do. So if you want to get like 3 to fight Bowser, that's at least an hour and a half
Right, and then there's the
So
line for Bowser, Bowser Jr.
yeah, about line for Bowser Jr. and then other things like that. When did I got there like 9:30, and I want to say I left like maybe 2:30 ish. So that's
Oh,
like 6 or so hours.
Yeah.
But I get,
good chunk
and I
of the
didn't,
day.
yeah, and I didn't do everything.
Mhm.
But I went on quite a busy day, so that affects different things. So you could definitely easily spend, I think, a half a day there, easily.
Yeah,
Um, but you can just pop in for like an hour and two, and still have quite a lot of fun. If you just want to go in and do Mario Kart and like do some shopping and look and take pictures, you could be out of there, after like 2 or so hours. But for hardcore Mario fans, I think they want to get the bang for their buck. For me, like pay, I would go to Universal solely for this. I think it's that good.
and I mean, if
Um,
you get the VIP pass, which I don't know how much more expensive that is, but I can imagine that would also help make things go significantly faster in some
yeah,
ways.
like for me, like paying the ticket to Universal Studios Japan is like they might have just well call it a Super Nintendo World ticket. Like I definitely was worth the price for me.
Right.
And I think for any hardcore Mario fan, anyone listening to this podcast, they would definitely agree. Like, yeah, it's worth paying the money to check it out.
I mean, it would be
Yeah,
absolutely worth it to
especially
beat up Bowser Jr. in real life.
Definitely.
Always wanted to beat that little bastard up.
I guess Fork, are there any little things that you found, or any like small touches in particular that maybe you haven't seen people talking too much about online, or haven't really seen covered that much that stood out to you?
I'm trying to think about some small touches.
Because I know like people went all in, were like, this is how you get every stamp, this is how you get every coin, this is everything about
Yeah,
every ride and attraction. But like, you know, I'm
I
sure
oh,
think
there
just
are some things that are very
okay.
interesting.
I have one thing I have to ask. Speaking of that, on that note,
yes.
so in Princess Peach's castle, there's a sun tile, like a tile that looks like a sun pattern. Do
Oh
they have an
yes.
Easter egg if you look at the light, like Mario 64, where you get the power star by looking straight up? Is, did you see anything with that?
I didn't check that, to be honest. I actually should have, but I'm not sure. Like, well, I'm not sure what they would like if an actual star would
Yeah,
descend
if they would
descend
have an
from the ceiling
Easter
or
egg or
whatever.
something hidden there. Yeah.
Oh, one thing I did notice that a lot of people don't talk about is the bathrooms have like these like underwater murals of like the Mario enemies. So you see like Blooper and you see like the big puffer fish, the purple one whose name I don't
Oh, yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty funny. I wanted to take a picture, but you don't want to whip out your phone inside the bathroom.
Yeah, you
But
don't want to
it is
be Doctor Disrespect.
exactly. But I thought that was like a really funny touch, and it really just showcases like they really thought of everything. Like no matter where you go, there's something like appropriate there. Um, something we didn't mention is that yeah, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach are there in the
Right,
park,
you can meet them.
walking
There's the
around.
character thing.
Yeah, like they kind of wander around. There's a stage where you can kind of go and take a picture, and they also kind of hang out under the second level. Um, and you can just pop in and like take a picture as well.
Did
They're pretty
you
easy.
did you get in with a picture?
I took a picture of them, not with them.
No, okay.
I was
Oh
content.
man.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this picture, to be honest. If I had it with them, it's like, do I need to like print it out and frame it, or
You have to
what
frame
should
it.
I
Yeah.
do?
I was gonna say, do they have
Yeah.
like a photo print station, or like you can buy the photos from there? I'm assuming.
I saw something like that, but I didn't really interact with it. But yeah, you can just whip out your smartphone as well.
That's cool.
Um, so yeah, I like their faces are articulated, like they blink and everything like that. So that was quite cool.
Oh,
And
that's terrifying.
Yeah,
there's Toad as well. Toad is like the one that stands out the most because he's so
he's
stout.
the chonky
Yeah.
little toad. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also Princess Peach. She's in like the gazebo next to Princess Peach's castle. Uh, so yeah, it was really fun to just see them walk around, and like their costumes are really well made. Um, so yeah, that's something else I didn't mention. In terms of other small touches, yeah, I just want to say it's really impressive how they translate everything into real life. Like the spinning coins, it it looks exactly like how a hovering spinning coin should look like. and the proportions are all like quite perfect. So you can just really tell that every part of the park was thought out so clearly, and it looks so authentic. It doesn't look like some cheap knockoff or something they licensed. It looks like a park Nintendo would make, which is
How did
what you
they
want to express.
do handling like maybe hiding some of the structural stuff so it kind of doesn't break the feeling of the theme park? Like, is most of that stuff like decently well hidden?
Yeah, like of course the coins are like on a stick
Yeah,
that's spinning around, but I think the like the platform is kind of elevated, so it's kind of hiding the stick a bit. But of
right.
course, if you're at a certain angle, you can kind of see it. But that's just
Yeah.
obviously Goombas are not real; they're on
What?
something. And
How were
Man, game. I'm not going anymore. I
Dude,
thought the Goombas were gonna be alive.
my racist grandpa told me that Goombas were real. What is the
He was talking about the Italians.
Oh,
but yeah, overall, it was a really amazing experience. Definitely worth doing. So yeah, it's opening up next year in America, so that's definitely closer to most people than the Japan one. But if you're in Japan, and if you're in Osaka, definitely I highly recommend it. But it is kind of like you need to dedicate your day to it type of ordeal.
yeah.
Mhm.
Did you
For
get to
sure.
look at all at the like Bowser Jr. like queuing area? Was it like a little castle or tower or?
Yeah, it's like an interior area.
Mhm.
I peeked inside a little bit where yeah, it's kind of like a mini like section of Bowser's castle. I would say, and I watched online a bit as well, where it's like
Yeah,
there's like a anti Mario graffiti in there,
that's
and
cute.
like a lot of just like childish stuff like that. Um, so yeah, next time I go, I'll definitely. I still have the coins from my previous visit, so maybe I can just go in there first things first and do that.
Yeah, I feel like that
So you,
stuff would save, right? Like they
yeah,
all you can still view it now and it keeps track of it. So it would I think
yeah.
it lends itself probably well to a repeat trip where you can just cover the ground you didn't. Did you get like the little like trophy icon for doing the Mario Kart ride? So I know they have like those
Uh,
big icons like on the front. It's like there's the Yoshi egg one, there's the Bowser one, and I think it's like a golden mushroom or whatever the little story is. And then there's like a trophy for Mario Kart.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I have that one. Yeah, there's a Yoshi one, a star one, and a mushroom one.
Yeah, I've been
Oh,
wondering what the star is for, and the only thing that I can think of is that it's like a like if you do all three of the other ones, you get the star.
I guess so.
So I've seen some people with it, but no one actually talks about like how they got it. So I feel like it has to be something like you did the three big things in the park. Here's your star or whatever.
Maybe.
Um, I guess I want to open the floor up real quick before we end, especially with Gar because Gar is huge on theme park stuff. Has been following this pretty closely. I guess I wanted to give you an opportunity as someone who is like knows a lot of the intricacies of the park and some of the stuff they do. If you had any questions um, to ask Fork that maybe haven't really been asked in other places, or like would be interesting to hear from someone who actually went to the park, if you had anything you wanted to ask.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up because there was one thing that was really on my mind, and that was kind of so Super Nintendo World. It has like a lot of like character animatronics and like moving pieces. I was wondering, since this is like a year and a half after the park opened, were they doing a good job in like terms of maintenance? Like making sure that all the character figures moved right, or were there any kind of like broken effects you noticed? I know that people have noticed like things on Mount Beanpole sometimes aren't moving correctly, so I was just kind of wondering how Universal has been maintaining the land.
Yeah, I was also kind of looking for that as well because especially after I saw the kids just slamming these blocks, I was thinking this stuff is going to break like sooner than later. Uh, but like in terms of like, there's no like paint chipping I noticed for the blocks. I want to say because I didn't know if I was like sometimes it didn't activate when I expected to. I don't know if it was the cooldown or if it was just like my positioning of my hand. But sometimes it like you might have to do like a little fiddling with like the hitting the block.
Mm.
But again, it might just be like the cooldown as well. Um, but I think overall, like no section of the park was like closed for maintenance or they were working on something. There's nobody like wandering around checking stuff. So it's like a really good in terms of the condition, it seems like pretty much perfect, at least for now.
Yeah, I was wondering
So
if like the blocks would be like scuffed up or like
yeah,
or whatever.
that's what I also imagined, but like I didn't notice at all. It looked like brand new, to be honest.
Pretty good
And
for a
then,
year and a half out.
Yeah, I mean, even considering
yeah,
like COVID and everything, there's still a huge number of people that are going through there every day.
right. Did they so there was a news story I think like a year ago that there was an animatronic on Mount Beanpole of a Goomba tower that fell down. It like fell onto the Yoshi ride kind of like maintenance area or whatever. And there's like a story of like workers walking away with a stack of Goombas. Did they ever put that Goomba stack back on Mount Beanpole, or is it still missing?
I didn't see a Goomba stack like outside the area. It might be inside the Yoshi's ride. Some of those types of items you could only see inside the ride. So maybe they moved it in there, or maybe it was originally in there. But I didn't see like a big 3 stack of Goombas.
That's too bad. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be outside. It was like a stack of 3 Goombas stacked up like a tower. So it could be that they're looking into like, safety reasons or like ways to like kind of reinforce that. Because that was an effect. I noticed that. I was curious to know if they reinstated that or not.
I can't believe they ruined Dr. Goomba Tower's entire career.
Yeah, rip Goomba Tower. Rip
He
our
had to
fallen
retire.
Goombas. And then, oh, one other thing. So, about the about the Donkey Kong area, I wanted to bring this up real quick because it's opening in in 2 years. Was there like a lot of cranes or like kind of construction going on? Was it like distracting when you were there, or was it like something that you really didn't notice?
They're really good about hiding that stuff in general. So when you're near the One Up factory, like the main shop, there is like a Donkey Kong like entrance, like that has like the I don't know how to describe it, the Donkey Kong gate, I would
Yeah.
say, like from Donkey Kong. And then it has like palm trees, like on top of that, of like the wall. So it is like hinting like, oh, Donkey Kong is coming. But I didn't notice like any construction, or it's hard to see like into that area because even if you're like at a really good vantage point, they're like covering that stuff up like quite, you know, quite covertly.
That's
So
pretty
yeah,
good that it doesn't
yeah,
break, the immersion then because you're standing right next to a construction zone, so
right.
with yeah.
Especially since you're supposed to be like kind of like warping, I guess, from world to world. It would be weird if you could like see a lot of Donkey Kong elements from inside the Mario area.
Yeah. And when you're inside the park, you really can't see like other parts of USJ when you're inside the Mario section. So it really feels like very immersive.
I guess to James and One Up, if you have any questions too about anything that Fork experienced or the park in general or whatever.
Just one quick one. How much recognizable Mario music was there?
Yeah, I wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
ask about that. The music.
The music was awesome. It was all Mario music playing throughout the park, and a really huge breadth of different Mario songs. Like I think I mentioned in the Discord, like I heard the Mario drawing song, honestly. So that's
crazy.
a really deep cut.
Yeah.
And I heard like I heard like
dope as hell.
yeah, and I heard like Mario Maker, like the menu music as well. And of course, like when I was eating, I heard like Gusty Garden Galaxy. So at that time, I thought, man, this is awesome. I'm eating a Mario burger, listening to Gusty Garden in a Toad House. It's like, oh my life, this is the peak of my life. I'm never going to top this.
Is there different music in the restaurant, or is it the same music throughout the whole park?
I want to say like different parts of the park have different songs.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Was it playing the ocean music in the bathroom?
I want to say maybe. I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, I remember that happened in the direct when Miyamoto went into the bathroom. They were playing the water theme, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny."
That's a good way to get your piss out. Yeah.
Yep.
Or maybe they can play like some really metal ass music if you need to take a hot shit in the bathroom.
God damn it.
It's like Bowser's Fury theme starts
Damn it,
playing.
they're guests.
Listen,
Yeah,
it is immersive.
I'm wondering like how much of it is like original for the park, because yeah, Gusty Garden just sounds like Gusty Garden,
Right.
but like the Mario drawing song seemed like a different rendition because
Oh,
it's got
interesting.
Oh, wow.
vocals. And
That's crazy.
Was it maybe the
'Cause-
3D land version of it, or just something
Maybe.
totally different?
because of course I think they kind of want to make it consistent.
Right.
Like you don't want to hear like Gusty Garden and then it suddenly cuts to like Mario 1-1 like 8-bit music.
Right.
So it is kind of like orchestrated. So I kind of wonder if it's like the Kirby Cafe where they made the soundtrack, at least some parts of it from scratch.
Yeah, that's very interesting. If there's like a, I feel like if they did, they would be selling soundtrack CDs. But like,
Yeah, like
maybe, who knows?
I think they did orchestrate some of them because I've noticed, like just from listening on, online and watching videos, there's some that are definitely new renditions. Like in the Mario Kart shop, I noticed a remix of Figure 8 Circuit from Mario Kart DS, and that track has never returned and never been remixed since.
Right.
It's definitely like not a DS kind of sound chip sound.
Yeah, it wasn't like a
It sounded
DS
like
rip.
orchestrated. Yeah.
That's cool. I think that has a
Yeah.
lot of fun potential, especially if they want to like maybe sell like an album that has like the remixed versions or something. Like that would be something I would be like, oh, that's cool, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
idea of like sounds of Super Nintendo Land being merch that you can purchase from the gift shop is insane.
It is kind of funny, isn't it?
I mean, no other thing. Surely that's never.
Well,
been
Kirby
done.
Cafe does that.
I'm talking about theme parks.
Oh
though.
yeah. Well, could you imagine like the CD case is like a music block or something? Like it would be like it would look like it would be like part of the thing.
That would be cool.
Are there music blocks in the park?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
there were, but they weren't
Oh,
soft.
okay.
Yeah, they're not, like,
that's
they're not
right. That's
squishy.
right. You did say that. I'm sorry.
So
You
do
can't
they
bounce
only
off of them.
play a single note, or do they play a melody?
I think if you hit all of them, I only hit like one of them just to hear like the note.
Mhm.
But I have seen other people like hit all of them and then it plays like the melody.
Oh,
that's
so
cool.
like once you hit all of them, it'll like play the whole thing. That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, there was kids around me just slamming stuff, so I didn't get to hear that. But
Some little kid just like elbow bombing the fucking note block.
I'm gonna turn into the worst type of fucking Disney adult when I go to this place.
Yeah.
I feel like all these children get out of the way.
Move, child. It's my
What do you
my
even
turn to
know?
hit the adult block.
Yeah.
Don't block.
You can't reach the adult block, Clay. I'm gonna have to.
You have to lift
pick
me
you
up. I'll sit on your shoulders. We'll be the human Goomba tower. Sounds like a
Yeah,
bad
we'll fall
a bad
off of the
horror
ocean.
movie.
Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of the note blocks, there's one other detail that I think is cool to mention. So there's different songs for playing the note block minigame, but something I read online, and I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like there's like Easter egg songs, like the note block minigame will tell you to hit certain note blocks in order to trigger a Mario song, but if you ignore that and do like a different melody, it will also like register secret songs.
Oh,
Like-
that's cool.
Like something like it might hit like the airship theme from Mario 3, I think might be one of the secret songs or something like that, or the slide theme from Mario 64. Those are the kinds of ones I think they pulled from. So that might be something worth checking out. That's like a hidden detail of the park.
So do these blocks like light up and then you just hit the ones that light up in order?
That's what I understand, yeah, from seeing it online, is that the blocks will light up in order and you got to hit them in order.
Interesting. That's cool. I guess, Fork, when you were there, did you see them mostly isolated, or did you see like a row of music blocks?
there's like a row of them.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they had like any like just kind of like randomly scattered about.
There might be, but I didn't notice it.
Can you just kind of like mess around with there and just like bop them all a bunch of times? I could see a kid being very annoying with that, but like in a good way.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, dang. I guess, yeah. Are there any other things you want to mention before we wrap up?
I guess just a rundown of like my advice. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
because Well, because I went to the Japan one, so I don't know how different if the Florida or the LA one will be. But this is, I think, can be applicable to all the parks. Definitely get there early, like get there before they open. If you want to kind of time your lunch for the Pinocchio's Cafe, yeah, get there early. Definitely buy the Power Up Band, and definitely make sure you use the Universal Studios app. Download that beforehand and scan your tickets beforehand as well, because you don't want to like be in the park and try to scan your ticket QR code. So try to do some preparation beforehand, as much as you can, and yeah, just do what you want to do. Don't feel like you have to 100% everything, because there's so much to do. Like it can be quite overwhelming. So yeah, just have fun, relax, and I recommend maybe saving your shopping for like the very last thing you do. And in
Yeah,
terms of
that makes
items that
sense.
are, I would say like 99% of items can also be bought in the other stores at Universal Studios. The only items I would say that are only in Super Nintendo World, of course, the Power Up Band, also kind of the more Mario Kart themed items, and the Chef Pinocchio, Chef Toad, like plushies and merch. If you want your own Chef Toad in your house, you have to buy it in Super Nintendo World proper.
Oh, I definitely want a Chef Toad in my house.
Do you know if the Chef Toad plushie they have like talks or anything, or is it just a plushie?
There's just a plushie. There's also like a soft vinyl like a statue,
Ooh.
and there's also a plushie of like the actual cafe
Oh,
with
really?
Chef
That's so
Toad like on
cute.
top.
Oh,
Yeah. And what else? There's like keychains and stuff for him. So yeah, definitely that's my advice. But it is a great place, and I think every Nintendo fan would love it. So check it out in Japan or America when you can.
I think unless anyone else has another question, I think my last question is how is the staff there that you interacted with? I'm assuming like were they cool? How did things seem to be run? Like were things kind of
Of
in
course, like
order?
yeah, they're of course, very polite. They know what to do. Uh, so yeah, no problems with them or anything like that. They're all smiles, all cheering in their Mario
did you
jumpsuits.
did you grill them on Mario trivia and make sure they know every single thing about every single Mario game so that they're
I asked them.
qualified to work there?
I asked them to show me their screenshot of clearing Champions Row from
Yeah.
3D World.
I do really feel like the staff are always the unsung heroes of these sorts
Yeah,
of things, and I feel
definitely.
bad when people mistreat them. So I'm glad to hear that they were polite and that they at least appeared to be like not hating their entire life. I don't know if they actually are, but
It's a hard job.
yeah, I would not be able to deal with that. I'd be like, all right, whatever, I quit.
Yeah, I absolutely would not want to deal with like an endless swarm of rabid Nintendo fans
Of
all
tier
day.
3 Nintendo fans, you mean?
Yeah,
The tier 3 fans are the ones to watch out for.
Yeah,
God,
keep those tier 3 fans away from me.
the people who are like hot for Daisy and hot for Peach and hot for whoever.
Luigi.
Waluigi. Well, he's not there, right? Is Waluigi in the park?
I did not see any Waluigi. I did see like a couple dressed up as Mario. No, sorry, as Wario and Waluigi.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing I wanted to mention that, of course, like a lot of people are wearing like Mario caps, and they sell like a bunch of stuff, to put on your head. I did see like this really amazing Pauline cosplay. Like this woman was decked out as Pauline, which was awesome.
Did you get a picture?
I wanted to, but like I
It's
was
awkward.
waiting in line, and then I saw her like kind of get out of the line and like walk away, and I never saw her again after that.
So
So
sad.
unfortunately,
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea to take pictures of random people without asking. That's a
Always-
convention lesson as well.
Always ask people before
Yeah,
taking pictures.
do not take
Definitely.
pictures of people without asking.
Yes.
definitely.
So
in any part of your life.
so Gartooth.
Yeah, there are a few of them. If it's a cop.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Okay.
All right, that took a turn. Gartooth, where
Say.
can people find you?
They can find me on the Nintendo Pipeline Discord or other places that aren't Twitter.
Nice. Okay.
Nice. Yes. I don't have much of a social media presence. Just look me up on, just at me if you guys want to hear from me.
And Fork, I know you have the Tokyo Game Life podcast, and you've been to a lot of really interesting and cool spots in Japan for Nintendo and gaming in general. Where can people find you and the podcast and find out more?
Yeah, you can find my Twitter account at Tokyo Game Life, one word. And yeah, I also have a podcast called Tokyo Game Life where I just talk about, things I talked about similar to today, just interesting places in Tokyo to visit. So yeah, please check it out. And yeah, also join the Nintendo Pipeline Discord. I post a lot of my like raw photos there. So if you
Yeah.
want to get the unfiltered experience
I
of
love
my Twitter account.
I love being there like randomly, and all of a sudden Fork's like, here's pictures of Nintendo Tokyo, and I'm like, I hate you, I want to be here.
Yeah.
And I guess for our viewers or anyone who's listening who might be interested in checking out the Tokyo Game Life podcast, what are some of the other places you've been in Japan that are gaming related?
Some I've covered on the podcast, of course, like Nintendo Tokyo that we mentioned before, and kind of just that shopping complex, Parco Shibuya. And also, I talked about Pokemon Wonder, which is a kind of nature escape game themed around Pokemon,
Oh, that's
where
interesting.
it's really awesome. Like I think a lot of people don't understand how awesome it is.
I don't even know what it is.
because
That's the first time I've ever heard of it.
It opened up like last summer, so a lot of tourists haven't been able to go to it. And it's in Yomiuri Land, which is like this very old theme park, a little bit outside of Tokyo. But you're basically like you're given a map and you explore these different parts of the park. But Yomiuri Land is like built into nature. So,
Oh.
for example, and you're trying to find the Pokemon, and the Pokemon, the way they're approximated is really clever. Like sometimes it's like for example, Roggenrola is just like a stone Roggenrola that you find. And there's also like another one, there's Gengar, and it's not really Gengar, but like a black light image of Gengar.
Oh.
And another one is like, the last section is like this bamboo forest, and on the bamboo stalks are different parts of a picture. So if you stand at a certain area, you can see the Pokemon painted on the bamboo.
Oh, yeah, one of those perspective image. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So yeah, I talked about that, and then a bunch of just like random places like cafes in Tokyo that are themed around video games, and yeah,
You've been to the
cool
Kirby
places.
Cafe before, right?
Yeah, and my
Yeah.
my most recent episode was about the Kirby Cafe, so I talked
Oh, that's
about that.
awesome.
Yeah, I hate you.
Tokyo Skytree. But yeah, that's an awesome place as well. So if you'd like to hear things about
Cafe.
where to go in Tokyo or Japan, then check it out.
So so that's Tokyo
Oh,
Game
yeah.
Life on Twitter, podcast. Is there an Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, it's also on Instagram as well.
Okay.
I post like some photos there.
Yeah, we'll post that in the description so people can check it out. I've been meaning to like listen for a while and I just have not had the time. So I hope some other people will join and listen and hear about some of the cool stuff you can do in Japan if you're a Nintendo or video game fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first off, thank you, Fork and Gartooth, for being here today.
Thank you
really
so
appreciate
much.
you coming by for this fun episode. One Up and James, thank you for being here. I know this is
Absolutely.
a longer episode, but I think it was really interesting and fun, and I hope people who hear about the park who maybe didn't know much about it or were thinking about maybe going but were on the fence, might have a better idea now of what to expect and what they might want to do. So with that, we're gonna sign off for tonight. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Later.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.